Nice. All right. Let's see. My head hurts. Ah, didn't sleep enough today. Oh, that's just how it is, isn't it? At least everything. Okay, camera's working. Sound should be working, including desktop audio. Everything should be fine. Yeah, cameras are synced. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so there we go. So today I got these. These are all Force of Will, as you can easily tell. This one is upside down. They are all from the new Valhalla cluster. I have never opened one of these. I stopped, like I said in earlier streams, I stopped at Raya 3. And Valhalla is just a complete stranger thing to me. Like, the only Valhalla card I have is this one. Here, this is the only Valhalla card I have, because I bought this one. Because I really like the artwork. This one is not in these sets, by the way. This one is from, I think Valhalla. It's either 1 or 4. I don't know. No, actually, I think it's 4. This, I think this is 1. This is Strange as a New Valhalla, and this is Awakening of the Ancients, I think. And yeah, I have a rough idea of what's in these boxes because I looked it up, and the only thing that's really relevant in these are the secret rares. That's like the only high-priced cards. But I just want the cards for the artwork. I saw a couple of nice looking ones in there, so I'm actually really excited to open these because I got them really cheap. They were more than 50% off when I bought them because card game's dead. So yeah, that's the thing. So I want to open these now, but I don't know if I want to start with Strangers in New Valhalla or Awakening of the Ancients. I'm kind of split on that. So I'm just gonna flip one of these oversized Pokemon coins, I think. Heads, I'll open Awakening of the Ancients. Tails, I'll open Strangers in New Valhalla. Well, it's heads. I said heads with these, so I'll open Awakening of the Ancients first. Then I'll do one of those, and then back to these. I think that's like the best way to go about it. Also, for today, I dug out one of my old Force of Will playmats. I have a couple of these, but I dug out one of the favorite ones, which sadly they printed like this and not, like normal playmat. Like this, the horizontal print, vertical print. I mean, it's kind of weird. But this is from Lapis 3, Return of the Dragon Emperor, I think it's called in English. It's one of my favorite sets because it has the dice ruler in it with Millium. Just really stupid deck, really fun. because it's stupid. Like it doesn't have any kind of real tactic benefit. It's just roll the dice, and if you're lucky, you'll just win. Well, yeah, I really like this playmat. I thought it was nice, and would fit for these somehow. Let's see. I still haven't found my scissors from last time. I don't know where they went. Genuinely no idea. But yeah, let's start with this one. These are still the cardboard boxes, not the nice ones they had earlier in the game. But yeah, these also come with the basic ruler packs. Don't know why. I guess for draft. I can open one of those to see what it's like, because I only know the ones from the from Raya. I don't know the ones from these. Let's see. I think they have magic stones in them. Yeah, they have a couple of magic stones in them, which I don't think these are actually like legal for the normal stuff. I know these are, but these are just magic stones. It's like, oh yeah, magic stone. Oh no, wait, these are rulers. These are rulers, not magic stones. Oh, okay, these are the basic rulers. But they only give you 3. They give you the fire, the wind, the fire, the light, and the water one. Oh wait, but whatever. Yeah, they don't really do much. They're just for draft. But yeah, these are the thing. So yeah, these boxes actually have some cards in them which I really like. They have Ny'alotha in them, which is the orange-haired girl here, the fox girl. That's Ny'alotha. She's a voodoo. And Raya. But I think she's called Oborozuki in this pack. I'm not quite sure. They I don't know. I didn't follow. I stopped following the lore when I stopped playing the game. So I'm not super sure what happens in this. But yeah. This has, by the way, this has 100 different cards in it. Just want to mention that. So there's a good chance I will get every card, every single card one time, because it doesn't have any rulers in it. But I most likely won't get every single card as a full art because this is not 100 boosters. But yeah, I'm actually really excited for these. So okay, these are the ones where they put the foil in the back. That's nice. Like I said, I've never seen these ones. Like, these are all new to me. And textured rare in the first booster pack. That's actually nice. Is this a miscut. This is like, you can tell from the bottom of the card. Like, I think it's hard to pick up on the camera, but the bottom of this card is like way too deep. You can pay. Oh, this card isn't bad. It's a nice card. Textured. First texture card of the day. That's nice. Yeah, if you guys can't see anything, then please let me know. Like, hey, Slow Boy Cam. Welcome to the chat. Wow, look at these anime titties on this card. Look at that. Oh, another textured rare. Look, this one looks nice. This is a dragon. No. Oh no, this is a demon. It's a demon. Look at this. This one looks pretty. It actually it's a bit higher, so it shows better up on the camera when I hold it up high. It's a pretty card. Also, I originally intended to do a Pokemon opening too, cause the store where I judge at got a huge shipment of Pokemon stuff, like English and German, and they also got the Battle Styles pre-release kits that they ordered and that were shipped to the wrong address for some reason. So I originally wanted to pick them up today, but I wasn't feeling super well, and it's like an hour-long trip to get it. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I only slept 4 hours today. Couldn't sleep. Oh, thank you for the gifts up, Slow Boy Cam. Yeah, the book, I wanted to do that because I would have 4 Hidden Fates booster boxes, Hidden Fates E-Trainer boxes. And also thank you for the 1050 bits, dude. You're keeping a generous streak up, eh? Yeah, I had 4 of those, and 4 of the Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes, and 1 Shining Fates Trainer box, and 4 Shining Fates tin boxes. Which would be the last ones I think that I was missing for my playsets. Like, I only get these for the playsets, I don't get more than that. Because I want to give other people a chance as well, because it's just hugely. Like, for instance, I got one of the McDonald's booster packs yesterday because my mom wanted a fucking cheeseburger, and she was like, "Oh, you're gonna get a kids menu because Pokemon, and you like Pokemon." And yeah, I got one of those, and this is like the only one I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna get more because it just seems scummy to get more than that one. Because it's like, because the children, you know, I'm an official judge for this card game still, even if it's not active. So I like when at the local where I play it, there's a lot of young children, like 10 years old. We have like an 7 or 8 year old. He's probably 8 now because, you know, it's been a year. So, and I know that these children were like super fucking hyped for this stuff. Because I'm in contact with the parents, because, you know, they want to know what's going on, like when can they get stuff, and they don't necessarily go in contact with like the store owner themselves, because, you know, it's kind of weird, because they think I'm like working there, like that children know I'm a judge, I'm like employed there, but and they told me like they like that McDonald's does that. But there have been, like, McDonald's which is completely plundered because they enforced the rule too late or not at all, where you can only get one of them. And it sucks. It sucks a lot. That's why I only get one. Like, I told my mom, like, don't get this for me again. Please. I didn't intend to get any of these in the first place. Because I didn't want to participate in this. I was like, no, I don't want to participate in this buying of stock and scalping of cards. It's just I don't like that. It's just bad. It doesn't make it's not fun for anyone. I just like opening packs. That's all I do. Ah, this card. I built this earlier. Now I have it in foil. Nice. But yeah, I absolutely hate the scalping stuff that's going on with Pokemon right now. And I really hope that Pokemon does something against it, other than just say, yeah, we're gonna print more. But we still have our limited capacity. It's like, come on, you have to swamp the market, do another fucking Steam Siege. And, oh, there's another tech shirt. The Mecha Leviathan. Is this a Godzilla? Is this a Kaiju? I should open these like a bit. My camera's a bit way too far. Just, yeah, this is better. But yeah, like the whole scalping thing is just giving me a really bad taste. That's why I'm happy that I'm gonna get the ones that I ordered. Because, like I said, I only get playsets, I don't get more. Because I have the Quadfolios, I'm like, yeah, I want every card 4 times. So if I want to play, I have it. But more than that, no. Absolutely not. I usually trade or give them away if I get more of them. Because it's just better. It's more fair. Like, I gifted a friend of mine like a first edition Nidoking from, I think it was either Base or Jungle, I don't know. Because he's a Nidoking fan, and I was like, dude, I don't need this card. You can have it. It's my phone. Who messaged me? Oh, a friend of mine. Who dares message me in my hour of card pulling? Didn't know they put Arthas in this. Looks like Arthas. That's also why I like Force of Will, just buying it, cause nobody buys this. Like I'm not cutting supply short or anything by buying these, cause the game is absolutely dead. There's a total of I think 4 stores in the entirety of Germany that still do tournaments for this, and it used to be like almost every city that did these. Like when I played. Every like comic book store or card store that did tournaments usually also did Force of Will. But yeah. It's been a hot minute since that. Like, I don't really care that much, I'll be honest. Because it's whatever, right? But it's still very funny to me. No, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, damn it. Oh, this is the devil that was on this card. Diablos. It's a one-sided card. Oh, this is actually a pretty fucking strong card. Jesus. But yeah. Like I'm just... I don't really care what the card game is as long as I like the artwork of the cards and it's like not super hard to get. And I think Force of Will is like the perfect thing to scratch that itch. I just like opening packs. Ooh, this one has a fancy texture to it. The cat, look at this. Like, I don't know if the camera picks up, but it has like a really nice texture to it. It's like outgoing waves. It's a cat. The Yin Yang Master. Same a Shikigami Master. Interesting. Let's see, what do we have in here? I think there's another texture. Also, this is literally just Nia, but with big breasts. You know, Xenoblade Nia, I mean. I don't like this card. I don't like this. This looks... No. No. Thunder Dragon... It's interesting that the Thunder Dragon is a red dragon and a fire card. Like, shouldn't it be yellow then? No. Guess whatever. I don't design these cards. But trust me, if I would, this card game would not have died this easily, because ooh, fancy. Because I wouldn't have given green everything in the game. Because screw green. Am I right? Oh, I pulled Diabolos in full art. Look at this. Look at this bad boy here. Like, this looks actually really cool. I really like this artwork. Huh. Really fancy looking guy. But he has another rarity in this, but just a secret rarity. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it. Oh, there we go. Oborozukuyo. Oborozukuyo. Jesus, that's a tongue break. I'm just gonna call Rhea. This is the Rhea from this pack. I actually wanted her. I hope I can get her in full out of this. Because this is a really nice looking card. I think it's also one of the most expensive from this set. I'm gonna put her here. And, wow, this is... Yeah, this guy, I was like, what am I looking at for the second there? They really, like, this card probably ate like 90% of the printing ink from this set. Alright. Let's see, what do we have here? Hunting Dragon. Oh, another texture rare immediately off the top. A hail of light, of blades of light. Don't look too bad. Don't mind it. It's not a super cool looking card, but it's pretty. It really reminds me of Swords of Revealing Light from Yu-Gi-Oh! Really looks like it. It's so fucking funny how Yu-Gi-Oh! Has become such a huge pop culture thing now. Like, I remember when I bought my first booster packs, which were Legend of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. I bought them at the kiosk here. Nobody knew what Yu-Gi-Oh! Was, except like children. Like, as children, we were like all over this, right? We really liked Yu-Gi-Oh! As children, because it was like, oh, cool monsters, you know, and the anime ran at the same time, and everyone wanted to watch the anime. It was like Duelist Kingdom and all that, and I mean, everyone wanted to have the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and shit like that. It was really fucking, like, the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Were something magical. And I really miss those early days, honestly, because that's when it was like uncomplicated. You could just play with people. Like, we had Japanese cards because some stores here sold the Japanese decks, and because nobody knew what they were because they weren't out yet in our country, we just made up effects and like, we're like, yeah, that's definitely what this card says. It was quite something. But it was fun. It genuinely was fun. I look back at the time, I was like, yeah, peak childhood. The texture rare at the back. What is it? It's it's with Nylothep. Look at this. This one looks really nice. This is a super rare, right? No, it's just rare. Jesus. Yeah, look at this. This is a pretty card. Like, you can see that Nylothep is in the back there. Really nice. Early Pokemon I don't have any memories of because I didn't play until, well, I didn't play, I collected with the beginning of like EX, Ruby, Sapphire, like Gen 3, because I was way too young for Gen 1 and 2. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out at like 2002, 2003 here, and Pokemon came out in 1998, I think, here? 1998 or 99. But I was like 3 at the time. Plus, Emerald was my first Pokemon game. Like, I played the shit out of Emerald. I then transported my Latias, which I caught in Emerald, over to Platinum. Not Platinum, Pearl. And I lent my friend my Pearl because he wanted to transfer some Pokemon over as well. And he didn't have like, he wanted to I think he wanted to transfer them to Black and White, but he didn't have the 4th gen game, so he asked to borrow it, and I borrowed it to him, and he lost it, and I'm still mad about that, because that's one of my first Latias that I got. Latias is my favorite Pokemon. I'm still fucking pissed about that he still lost it. I'm still telling him that. Like, I'm still friends with the guy like almost 20 years later, and I'm still telling him, dude, you fucking lost my Pearl. I'm still mad at that. He's like, I know. Like, I feel bad for him a bit, but at the same time, you lost my fucking Latias. Oh, this is the, yeah, this is one of the cards I want in full art. The Nylothep, the Chaos Returns. Super rare. Oh, this one was a, ooh. This one did not want to open. Oh, there's a texture rare in this. Of course there is. But I didn't damage them because these cards are indestructible. Oh, look at this, look at this. I said I want the Nyalotha in full art, and what do I pull? Nyalotha in full art. If that ain't irony. I mean, look at this. This is a beautiful card. Absolutely beautiful. I love this one. Like, you can see the difference between like the normal and the full art so well here. Like, the full art just looks so good compared to it. It's amazing. I love the full art. This one goes definitely on the. These two definitely go on the. I want to keep these separate stack. Because I always played red in this game, because red was just my favorite color, because I like to play aggressive decks. Not as much burn as just hit fast and hard, you know. And Nyalotha was like the first deck that I bought, because it was Cthulhu, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But I just really fell in love with the character itself, like in the lore, and I really liked the cards she had. Because she got some really fucking cool cards later on. My friend, Lost the Pearl, also played the game for a bit. But he couldn't due to university and just not having any money or time. Because he was living in a different city. So always coming over to my city to play was always a hassle for him. Which, you know, is understandable. And he also had the red deck, the red starter deck, Nyalotha in it. And he won against the German head judge with a slightly different team starter deck, and the head judge was playing the top meta deck, because my friend was just so fucking lucky with the pulls, and he just hit him with the stupid ass gentle goat all the time. It was really, really funny. The gentle goat is the best meme card in the game, because you think it's bad, and it's not great, yeah, but it does what it's supposed to do. And this was like before they had 2 million counters in this game. Oh, Tiger Girl! It's a texture card. Is it rare or super rare? It's a rare. Not super pretty, but doesn't look bad. Let's see, what do we have here? Another one of those. I already had that. Let's see. And okay, great card. I don't like it. I don't like this one. It's ugly. Ooh, this looks like a pretty card in the back. Is it textured? No, and it's not pretty. I mean, it's like artistically impressive, but it's not something I like. I don't like this style of artwork. I'll be honest. I like more than I like the enemy style more. Yes, call me a fucking weeb. I don't care. I embrace it. And what do we have in the back? We have, oh, a Perfect Matrix. I wanted this card as well, because it had Rhea on it, and it looks really nice in the full art version. Look at this. Yeah, this one goes onto this pile as well. Why not? Why not? Also, if I ever buy the pre-release packs, the big boxes with like 2 playmats and all that in it, I thought about giving away the playmats on stream. Like viewers could like donate bits or money, I don't know, and have a chance at getting one of those. Like I'd send these out. What do you guys think about that? Because I figured I don't eat them, right? So it's a nice way to give them away, since they are really good quality. You can use them as mouse pads and stuff like that, and they look pretty. Most of them do, at least. There's always like the odd one or two which don't look good. But you can't have everything. Like I have most of the playmats they released from like Grim to Rare. But there's some which is like that can reflect with frame playmat. I don't have that one because I was just like, this one is ugly. I want it. Oh, I had the Super Rare mouse in there. Now I have it here. It's a textured. Not a fan of this one because it's just a mouse. But I'm guessing it's a good card. I didn't look at the green deck too much, so I don't know what the gimmick of it is. There's another Diablos. Yeah, this is the Reddit card. This is the Reddit card. This card is literally called an IQ of 200. That's literally the name of the card. This is the Reddit card. This is the Reddit mouse. Jesus. And what is this? This is textured Delphinius. A weird card. It's not super great from effect in the cost. But if you could cheese this in, it might actually be really good. Okay, last booster pack. I don't think I've gotten a secret rare in this pack, so I don't know if the secret is guaranteed per box or not. Guess I'll see. Doesn't seem like it. Like I know some of these are. Oh, I don't think the super. Don't think the secret rares are guaranteed. That might be why they're so expensive. Because if they were one per box, they would be more expensive than a box. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm gonna put these in here. Gonna keep the full art cards out. So I'm just gonna put the other ones on top of them because I don't care about the sets in these. I did back in the day, like I had a big folder. We're talking like this thick with like all full arts and foil cards in the game that I had, and there were like hundreds of them. Like I had almost every full art card in the game like which were released at the time like 4 times because I was just so obsessed with this card game. So I bought them, like, or traded them if I could. Oh wait, I wanted to open the other set first. Right. So I got like a shitload of them. Like, not booster boxes necessarily. I didn't buy that many boosters. I'll count it. But like most rulers and such, I just bought as singles because it was cheaper than trying to pull them. Trust me. So I had like almost every card 4 times in full art. Because I was like, yeah, I really like this game. And then I sold my collection for like $600-700. It was worth a lot more back at the time, but I saw that the game was dying and I wanted to get rid of it before the game absolutely crashed. Because I needed the money for computer parts. And that's how I financed my 1070 Ti, I think. Which I'm still using. I would like to upgrade, but I don't want to pay the scalper prices for 3080 or 3090. Like, fuck that. I had the money at launch for the 3080, like the 700 something. But it was just, yeah, we all know how the launch went. And Nvidia just keeps screwing themselves up. So what can you do? And oh, is it the texture? Like, yeah, it feels like every fucking booster pack on the first pack has a texture kind in it. It's Schrödinger. Look at this, cat in a hat. What else do we have in here? We have a panda and we have Orpheus. It's also rare texture there. Not too keen on this one. Like, you can barely see the texturing. It's not something I care about with this one. It's kind of meh. It is meh. Like with this pack, I honestly don't know what to expect. I have looked up more at the Awakening of the Ancient pack than I have in Stranger's New Valhalla. I know the secret rares from Strangers are really nice. But that's about all I know from this pack. Like, I don't know the specific cards in it. Because, like I said, I haven't looked too much at this one. I don't know, it just didn't really strike me as interesting, because this is, I think, the first pack from New Valhalla. So, usually the first packs don't have anything super good in them, anything that's like really pretty or like strong, because they want to ease you into the cluster. But you have some Egyptian themed cards which I like this one. This is like one of the few card games who like to, well, not card games, but like Japanese things that do Egyptian stuff right. I guess Yu-Gi-Oh was kind of nice at it, but Yu-Gi-Oh like was just mixing and matching left and right with like the Knights of the Round Table and all that. Like they lost like the mythicism stuff as soon as GX started. Then they started going hog wild, which I kind of don't like. I like the original stuff, like the dual monsters and all that. And Magic kind of does it, but Magic is not Japanese. Magic is Western. It's sold in Japan. That's right, but you know, it's yeah. Okay, weird card. Yeah, there's not a lot of Japanese things that do Egyptian stuff good. I think Fate does it a bit with Nitocris and such. Like I have the Nitocris Nandroid up here. She's cute, but it's nothing that really hits like the spot. Like I'm surprised there is no Egyptian Isekai. Like I genuinely am surprised about that, because it feels like there should be at this point, but no, they just keep recycling the same themes. Well, yeah, this card I wanted in full art, the Guinevere, because you know, two obvious reasons for that. I have no shame. There's a texture card in this. Let's see it. Oh, it's just this guy. I don't know what he is. I think it's a rabbit. Is he? No. No, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know the English translation to that word, because it's like its own thing. It's not a German word. It's like a title. The own title. The Destroyer Dragon. Well, I wanted a full-out Guinevere, but this is not full-out Guinevere. This is her Royal Guard. But close enough, I guess. Is there a texture there at the back? Yes, it is. It's ooh, I like this one. This one is pretty. Look at this. This is a mermaid card. Really pretty looking one. I like this one. This one is a really nice art stuff. Well, yeah, this card is bad for its stats. That's what I mean with like the first set has garbage in it. Because it costs 3, it's 600 and flying. Like that's not good. It's mediocre at best. Let's see, what do we have in this? We have, oh yeah, this one is also really nice, the Estima. This one. I wanted this one as full as well. And the Destroyer Dragon. I just really like that they are still consistent with the quality of the artworks on the cards. Like, it's so nice that you just know that these artworks still look good. And okay, weird. That guy. Like, this one is actually kind of okay. Like 600, 400 for 2 cost and has First Strike. Like, it's actually pretty good. First Strike is a good ability and it's kind of rare on cards. Oh, Amon. This looks, yeah, this is an edgy card. Look at this. This is like Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, I played 2 of her. Because you know you want to, if you want to play something as a staple or as like a main card, you want to play it 4 times, and it has to be that good because you're gonna draw it a lot. So usually you play like the cheap stuff 4 times, like the cheap creatures or the cheap chance. And teleportation. Okay. You never play. But there's a couple of decks which play like the really big creatures 4 times, like the Welter deck, which I played Beelzebub 4 times, cause a Welter could cheese them on the field, you know. So it was like whatever. Okay. Interesting artwork, very colorful. I don't really know what I'm looking at there. But yeah, like Welter could cheese big creatures on the field, so he played big creatures like 4 times each. Yet insanely good resonators on his arsenal. He had Elixir, which I think was a 2-cost resonator, and I think she was like 800 or something. She was really fucking good. She was like definitely one of the better cards he had. And Beelzebub was just insanity, because you could just drop this guy and just win. Because Beelzebub himself was like a massive wall. Oh, look at this! Full Art Ellis! I got the Full Art Ellis, Dolan Full Art Ellis from the set. She's not gonna go on this pile, but she looks nice. And, okay. Interesting. It's not a bad card. Like, this card would be nice for, fire decks, because it buffs fire cards. But, it's specifically tailored for the, starter deck. Like, these are all the starter deck needs to get buffed cards. Also, guys, if you are sub to my Twitch and have your Twitch linked with the Discord, you can use my emotes on Discord. You know, the Nia and such, and Scarlet. Emotes. And that's the first booster box from this set. Strangest in Valhalla. Not a secret rare, though. I'll be honest, I don't think I'll be getting a seed rare from these. I hope I do, but it's so unlikely. I don't know the pull rates of them. Having 4 secret rares like as a playset must be the biggest fucking flex in this game now. Like having like a uber rare ruler, which are the monochrome cards, and having all the secret rares and all full art must be the biggest flex. Because I did that back in the day when I was playing. Like, I had the Welser deck almost complete in full art. There were a couple of cards which were not released in full art from that deck, so I didn't have those. But every card I could get in full art, I had. Like, the deck was just bling. But I didn't have Welser in Uber Rare, because in Uber Rare it was like 400 euros, and I was like, fuck that. I'm not paying that much for a stupid piece of cardboard. That's way too much. Now, like, most I paid for a card is like 80 bucks, but it has to be a card I'd really want. That's like my upper limit, and I'm not gonna get a playset, I'm only gonna get 1. And then that's like the only purchase I make that month when it comes to TCGs. Let's see, what do we have here? And it's the mouse again. The 200 IQ mouse, the Reddit mouse. Let's see. Another texture in this? No, it's just dragon. Just dragon. I had this one already. Nobody cares about you, dragon. Go home. Ah. Oh, nice. This one is nice and full art. Bit dark, but nice. I should have gotten more of these, considering how fast I'm going through them. But I don't want to spend all of my money on this, so if I can get them cheap, I'll get them. But I'm not gonna buy them for retail price, because the game is dead. That's what I talked with one retailer who still wanted like the normal price for their boxes. Like, it was like the last stuff they had, and they have been sitting on for 4 years. And they were like, yeah, I won't give this away for less than what the original prices of these. And I was like, yeah, keep it. Like, with all due respect, I'm willing to buy, like, I'm willing to pay, like, a bit more than the price that the merchant had to pay for them. So they have at least a bit more. But I'm not willing to pay retail price for the old sets. Because nobody's gonna buy these. They're just gonna rot. It sounds mean, but let's be real, that's how it is. Like with Pokemon, it's a different thing. Pokemon, people are crazy about, but this card game is so dead that they won't be able to sell these anymore. And I don't have to buy them at that price. Like if you come towards me, make me a good price, I'll come towards you and maybe give you a bonus or something like that. Because now I want to be fair. I don't want to like cheat people out of the packs or something like that. I want to be fair. Oh, another Oborozuki. There she goes. But I still want to get them for like a reasonable price. I would get the US packs if I could get them like en masse and like, because I tried to buy them off eBay, but the thing with eBay is that they charge you delivery cost for every item you buy. But I want, like, if I want to buy like 3 boxes, I have to pay shipping for each of them and customs for each instead of one, you know, one delivery and one customs, and it just gets expensive. Where I'm like, no, this isn't worth it. Oh, another full art cat. I had this one already. I think I'm at the point where I'm just getting repeated for super rares. But yeah, like it was a one set which I wanted but couldn't get because of the Frozen Casket. The thing is, the special thing about Curse of the Frozen Casket is that it doesn't have full arts. It has textured cards, but it doesn't have full arts because they didn't have full arts in that set. They had them after that set, in every following set, but it's just not in that one because they fucked up in the printing process. Because they were supposed to be full arts, especially of the rulers, but they were like, oh, we forgot. And they never fixed it. That's why it's so cheap to get. But I still like Curse of the Frozen Casket. There's some really nice cards in it, even though it's like Lapis 1. I have not pulled a Oborozuki in full art yet. And there we go. I was looking at it, I was like, huh, I didn't get it yet. Because I said I wanted her, and yeah, here we are. That's really nice. I always have a playset of her. It's really cool. How do I get a playset? I still like to play this game. Oh, there's another textured full art. This, what is that? Is this the? Oh, this is just the spell. The Diablo spell. It's still a cool looking card. Yeah, I still like to play this game with my people. Not in public, of course, because, you know, pandemic. I'm not gonna go to any tournaments. Like, if Pokemon would resume tournaments in Germany, I would just straight up say no. I'm not gonna. Like, I don't care that I'm a judge. I don't want to be bear the responsibility of doing a tournament in a pandemic. Also, nice looking card. Textured. Like I generally think like doing a Pokemon tournament or something like that in a pandemic is just no, it's unresponsible. Plus, Pokemon has like the program. They've been doing tournaments through that, and it worked fine. I don't play TCGO anymore though, because I don't like TCGO. I feel like the game literally stacks the odds against you when you win like 5 or 6 times in a row. The game just gives you shit hand. Like I had it where when I played ladder with a deck with like 6 energy cards, and the game consistently gave me 5 energy cards every single time I started a game. And it's like, no, that's not random. That's not random. You can't tell me if I get like 5 energy cards and one item card 5, 6, 7 times in a row every time I start a game. That's not random. That's just the game being a shitter. Because I've never had that happen to me in real life when I shuffle the cards, and I shuffle them good. I do pile shuffle, normal shuffle, pile shuffle, normal shuffle. That's how I shuffle my cards. Because I hate when I like have cards sticking together and shit like that, because it pisses me off. And there's another Nylothep. Nice. Let's see, what playset do we get first? Nylothep or Oborozuki? Really curious. Also, you guys can't see them because my camera's over it. I'm actually gonna just there we go. Let me just leave this. There we go. That's better, isn't it? I think it's better. I completely forgot that you guys can't actually see this side. Sorry about that. I wish I had an RTX card so I could do the NVIDIA broadcasting thing with like the green screen, because that shit is super fancy. I've seen it in action. It's so good. I really like it. I wish they would do it for the older cards, but I don't think they can because of the RTX cores that have like the AI and whatever. So yeah. Oh, this one is a 3D card. Look at this. Look at the texture on this. Like, this is a really nice texture on it. Really detailed. I like it. What is it like a? I can't tell what the thing is in the texture. It looks nice though. I really like this. And yeah, the NVIDIA Broadcast Studio is just such a cool technology. I'm really happy that we're at the part where we just can render the background out without needing a green screen. Because AI is just that far. But it's not really AI, it's technically, it's just, just code behind it that is like, okay, this. It's facial recognition, but they market it as AI. I still think it's really cool, though. My point is, it's not actually intelligent. This card isn't bad. It's a 1-cost resonator with 7 defense and 0 attack. Like, it's a good blocker. And it says that you can banish this card and something gets indestructible. Indestructible. Ooh. Wait, is this the secret rare from this set? Eris? I gotta check this out. Give me a second. This is Awakening of the Ancients. Oh, of course, card market is down. Thanks, card market. Where's the secret rares in this? Great. I don't think it is the secret rare because it says SR. Okay, Okay. Eris. Eris has a secret rare. Yeah, it's not this one. It's not this one. I checked on TCG Player. It's still super expensive though. I just had to check. Let's see, what do we have here? It's guy with a goat. What's a deer? It's a deer. It's not a goat. I'm just an idiot. Well, deer, goat, where's the difference? And what do we have at the end here? It's oh, textured. It's Kunoichi Shikigami. That's a pretty lady. Pretty card. I really hate that the ring light isn't taller. Because I can't mount it on the top of my shelf, otherwise the cable wouldn't reach. Let's see, it's oh, not textured. Okay, it's still a pretty card. Still no secret rare though. Hopefully that will change with the last few booster packs. What is this? This is normal. And no. By the way, I can still get these, the Awakening of the Ancients booster packs. I can still get these. These are still on sale. The Strangers of New Valhalla are not. These are out. At least from the merchant where I bought them from. I also didn't full of Freya and full art from this. I actually might get more Awakening of the Ancient booster packs because I really like the cards in this set. Really pretty. Like, a lot of them just really resonate with me visually. Because they don't have the painty artwork, they have more anime style. Which is the kind of artwork that I, you know, like from this game. So yeah. Come on, I want one more Nile Lothep or Oborozuki. That would be fantastic. But I get a butterfly instead, I suppose. Oh, what is this? This is oh, this is the full art Freya. But this is not the secret rare. This is just the normal full art. But I wanted this as well. I mean, look at this. This looks a really pretty card. What is this in the back? Is it a textured? Is it a textured? It's Laura, Dark Necromantic Teacher. What's the texture for it? Looks nice. Pretty. Last few packs from Awakening of the Ancients. Let's see what we have in there. Just a normal foil at the end, I think. Yeah, it's an IQ of 200. It's the Reddit card. No one wants a Reddit card. Oh, is this another Nylothep? No, it's the Chaos Spiral again. Still a nice card. And the last booster pack. No secret rare? Who knows? Let's see. And it's not a secret rare. So no secret rare from Awakening of the Ancients. That sucks. But it's something I'll have to live with. Gonna take a sip. Can't forget to drink. Oops. And now the last booster box. Another Strangers in New Valhalla box. Oh yeah, I like this set a lot more. I think it's better than Strangers in New Valhalla just visually. Yes, I'm using a pen to open these because I still haven't found my scissors. Also, I'm wearing World of Tanks shirts with a Final Fantasy pen. I'm Mr. Worldwide. Come on. There's another of the basic ruler packs. I could give these away if anyone wants them. I don't need them. But I doubt anyone wants the German cards. Because I'm guessing the majority of my audience is English, so... Or at least speaks English. So there's no point in German cards even given out to others. Because you're not even allowed to play them. Because that's a stupid rule they have, where it's like you can only play cards from your nationality. Which I always found really stupid, because other card games don't do that. Like usually every language is legal unless it's like the Asian languages, like Taiwanese. There's a language, I don't know if they speak, if they have their own language or it's Chinese. The Vietnamese cards, the Japanese cards, and the Korean cards are usually not allowed in the Western regions because they have different backs. And usually different set numbers, like from most card games in general. Ooh, yeah, this is one of the super rare cards. And this one actually has the secret rare in this set, which is I think the most expensive card from this set, the Zhang Liang. Like, she's pretty. I like her. But it's not the secret rare. The secret rare is, I think, it's still like $80 or something like that. It's still super expensive. I'm guessing because it's you know, red hair girl with blonde red hair. Oh, it's another texture. Destroyed land. Look at this. This thing has like the texture all over it, so it's hard to tell that it's textured, but it is. Like, you can tell on the edges of the card that it's textured, because the normal foils don't have that. But it's a really, really weak texture on it. But the artwork of the card itself is really nice, so that evens it out. And cat. And I don't know. Knight? I guess. What's a machine? No. Never mind. It's a machine. Nano machine, son. Let's see. And yeah, she was textured. I had it already. I bought it already in my art. Okay. There we go. Crack my knuckles. And that sound like I don't chuckle. It's a Sand Soldier. Nobody cares about you. It's not a bad card per se, but it's not a great card either. Because if your opponent swarms, it's bad. Because it gets destroyed after it fights. And another Schrödinger. Getting duplicate full art textured cards is never good. Another one of those. Yeah, it's not good that I get duplicate full arts from the textured rest. It's not nice. I would have rather have some I don't have yet. Like the thing with like Oborozuki and such, I don't really mind. There's another Athenia. Nice. Like Athenia is, I think, the nicest looking card aside from the Zhang Yang or whatever the hell it was called in the set. But yeah, getting duplicates is not a good thing for the full art rares because they have like, I think there's like 10 super rares in the set, and just keep getting the same ones in full art is not ideal. But that just means they short printed some. I'm guessing Athena as a short print and Alice as well. It's like what I'm guessing, because it makes the most sense that they short printed those two, because it's, you know, pretty anime girl. They have, well, I think they're pretty good effects. I think I'd have to take a closer look at them, but they look like they do a lot. Oh, Soul Cage. It's a texture card. Looks nice. Like 5 cost, and he has like a shitload of text and 1,200 attack and 1,000 defense. Like that usually means he is really good. Like they usually have something hidden back in their sleeves. And oh, nice! This is another one that I want in full art. Estima, the Edge Girl. Look at her. She's pretty. She also goes into the pretty girl part. I'm actually gonna put the Zhang Liang there as well. Now that I think about it, because she also belongs in this pile. The pretty girl pile. I don't mind putting dudes in there, but most of the male cards are just kind of meh. Like they do like the super muscly dudes. It's just like my thing. There's some nice cards in like look at this. This guy looks like the dude from Seven Deadly Sins. Ban, I think his name is. But yeah, they did some really nice male cards in Lapis. Like they had Gil Lapis himself, they had Gil Alamat, they had Million, they had Uma Tamir, they had the fox guy, I forgot his name. They had Mikage. Mikage was also really nice. They had Mars. No wait, Mars was the girl. I mean the other guy, the Steam guy. I forgot his name. He was in the second set from Lapis. He had Steam Explosion, which was super broken and expanded. I can't remember his name. It was also one of the planets, but I don't remember which one of them it was. I really can't remember his name. A friend of mine might know it because he has the playmat from him. Because he bought it like super cheap. Also, this is also textured. Nah, not a great looking card in my opinion, because there's like the weird horn thing on it. But I didn't have this one before, so not a loss. Pretty good, still in it. I already did the texture. It's just there. I opened these way too fast. I think I should have gotten way more. I should have got like 6 or 7. There's another Alice and this thing. I think I have this thing now 3 times in full art. I don't want it 3 times in full art. What am I supposed to do with this? It's not even a good card. Bad. It sucks. It sucks. With the pack opened, really nice. Okay, I guess. I don't need to understand why that was in the wrong way, right? Sure. I'll take it. And this card. Textured. Let's see. This is a normal foil. I don't care about those. And another normal foil. The game's giving me shit. Come on, game. I want a secret rare. I want to look at one. Give me the secrets. I need the secret rares. Come on, game. Oh my god. It's giving me shit right now. Lots of trash. What against these? Is this a texture card? Spaceships. I guess was one of spaceships. Didn't know that. Reflex, but okay. I think there's a texture at the back here. No, it's just a normal card. It just looked fancy. And what do we have here? Oh, another Estima. Nice. What even do? Okay, she's actually really good with her effect. I guess Dima is really strong. Oh, another Full Art Alice. Nice. Like that, I'm not mad about Full Art Alice. Full Art Alice is nice, even if I get the case. What does she even do? Revel 2 plus 100 and indestructible and a turn. Ooh, interesting. So she can summon herself and buff herself when she summons herself. That's interesting. Okay, this thing is also textured. I don't think I'm gonna get Secret Rare from this. Kinda disappointing. I wanted one. At least one. This is just the number one. Like you can tell the difference between the null and the textured ones, because the textured ones have like a they aren't as dark, because I don't know. I think the printing technique is just different. Yeah, no secret rares. It was the last pack. Yeah, that sucks. Let's look at a couple of pretty cards from that I am really happy about. I'm actually gonna go through these. I guess Steamer I had in here, I think, somewhere. Okay. Where's the other Steamer that I had in here? Already too far. No, there she is, Estima. I think the Zhang Liang is the first one I pulled, actually. Because I don't see any other pulled. Not even, like, normal. Which is interesting. Not impossible, but interesting. Might be that they short printed it because of how strong it is. I haven't read the card yet, but it probably is short printed. Because they always did that with red cards for some reason, where they short printed them to hell and back. Which made no sense, because red wasn't even a strong card to begin with. It's like mediocre. It's like it can hold its own, but it's not great. So let's actually see what they can do. This is Zhang Liang. She does take for paying trump card hand to the hand, the top of your deck. You can play that card. And she has a counter. She's actually really good. She's really good. She's a good card, the Zhang Liang. You know, you can look at her color. But yeah, I think this is like still one of the prettiest cards I pulled today. Athenia. Like, she is really pretty. Let's see if card market is actually up again so I can check the price on it. Nope, card market's still dead. Because of course it is. I really hate that I only had material for like 1.5 hour stream. I thought I could go at least 2 hours. But yeah, that wasn't enough. I want to make like a big opening with these, with like the playmats and all that. But I have to get the money together for that first, because, you know, I have to buy stuff before I can open it. But I don't want to financially impede myself. Like I said, I wanted to do it where I'm gonna give away the playmats, which are kind of like these here. This one. Give away the playmats to viewers, and maybe like the duplicate rulers or something like that. Give them away. Because of the frozen characters, I think 3 rulers in it. One of them is Zero, Mars, and what's the third ruler in that? I think it wasn't a good. I think it was Feast thing. Oh, wait, Feast thing wasn't a start deck. I don't remember what the third ruler was in that set. I really don't. I wish I could. I don't think it was like a super good card or anything, but like Zero was the best out of those cards because she was just immune to every target to the ball card, which is Barrier, and I think she also had Undying, so you could resummon her. I'm not sure, but she was good. Like the Barrier alone was really good because your opponent had to actually attack her. Couldn't just nuke her as soon as she entered the field. She was really strong because of that. It was a card you could still use later in the later sets because her effect was still that good. Look at this, the Alice. This is a pretty card. The Freya also goes on the pretty good pile. Alice of course too. This one goes on the pretty good pile. The Reddit mouse does not go in the pretty good pile. I just want to sort these a bit, because it makes it easier to, you know, look for them later. I would have hoped that you guys would be a bit more talkative today, but I don't blame you. I know that most people just kind of chill out here and watch me open these. And I just appreciate you guys coming. It's very nice. Like, yeah, I wish you would talk more, but it's fine if you don't. No. This other Schrödinger. Yeah, this one twice, there's the other Shigami. I don't think I had any other duplicates of others. Yeah, there's the Diablos card. And there's the Water Breath. This is the other arts. Yeah, these are the older cards, by the way. These are older fossil wool cards that I still found in my collection. Like ACN is Ancient Knights. Like I just put them together with like the other ones I found. Like I had like a couple of boosters from Strangers in New Valhalla, like 3 or 4 I think. Because GameStop still had them back in the day, and I didn't know what they were, so I was like, you know, we're just gonna get them. I think they had them down to like $2. This is a different. So I was like, you know, I'm just gonna get him. Just gonna get him. I don't have this thing in full art. Interesting. But yeah, I just want to put all the full arts in one spot so I know where they are. So I don't have a folder for them yet. But I want to sleeve the pretty good cards. These are the Yu-Gi-Oh ones. They are the normal type ones. I have them here somewhere. I have a bunch of sleeves here. I might just use the... Yeah, I'm just gonna use the Ultimate Guard ones. Might as well, right? Well, stay here. Because I usually do it like this, where I just fold it around. So I can easily just get them out. Because, you know, having your cards protected is important. I had a little discussion with someone on my Discord, where he tried to argue that you shouldn't be required to have sleeves for cards, and I was like, dude, what the hell? He was like, oh yeah, but you know, they can't force you to use sleeves, and I was like, dude, it's their game, like, they can tell you what to use on tournaments, because it was a discussion about the two-sided cards. Yeah, that's what it was about, and I told him, like, dude, they can tell you that, like, they don't have, like, they don't have to care, like, it's also a protection against cheaters, so they can't, like, identify cards by, like, damages on the edges and something like that, because that's a real thing that people did in the past with Yu-Gi-Oh, if I remember correctly. Like, most modern rules when it comes to, like, card games and cheating are from Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic. Pokemon not so much, surprisingly, because it's kind of pointless to cheat in Pokemon. But with Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic, it was really there. And yeah, like, what can I do, right? It sucks, but yeah, the sleeve thing is a thing that is still from the Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic days. Because marking cards was a thing. There was actually someone who tried, like, this stupid May Valentine thing with, like, the perfume, where she marked cards, like, with perfume or some garbage from anime. It was wild. I think the person actually got caught. I mean, it must be pretty obvious if your deck fucking stinks. So, you know, I'm just glad I got these two in full art. Like, I really wanted these two in full art, so I'm happy I got those. So those were, like, the two main interests. Like, the secret rares would have been nice, but they weren't a requirement. Also, I like how my bad cam is way brighter than my normal cam. Just noticed that. Like, yes, it's shining on me, but you can see the light difference between those two. Yes, those. These ones I would probably put somewhere. It's just normal. I can just put them in this box. Just put them up. Just nice. Because there's no point in having those just fly about. You can just put them away, so they're at least safe. Because these are just the normal full art cards. They aren't worth much. Like, most of them are only worth a couple of cents. I remember back in the day there was one uncommon card, which was, I think it was uncommon, which was Thought Control, which was 1 black and said you could select a card from your opponent and discard it. And that card in full art was super fucking expensive because everyone wanted to play it, so you had to pay at least $10 for full art for goddamn uncommon. Yeah. Let's see what does Oborozuki actually do. On arrival, put 2 fresh blood counters on this card. If your rune zone are at least 4 uncovered runes, put 4 blood counters then on this card. Remove a fresh blood counter from this card. This card gains flying and a drain until the end of the turn. Rest this card. Remove 2 fresh blood counters from this card. Destroy a judge or a resonator of your choice. Wow, that's actually really fucking powerful. Jesus. This card gains plus 1,000 if you control at least 10 magic zones. This card is insanely good. Jeez. Oborozuki is a really fucking good card. Like, for a cost of 4, 1,000 resonator with that with those abilities, that's really good. That's really strong. Wow. What does Nylothep do? You can play this card if it's removed from the game. You play one more to play this card if it's removed from the game. Rest this card, remove this card from the game. Draw a card. To fire, remove this card from your graveyard from the game. Banish a Firestone, destroy a Resonator of your choice. This card is... the thing is, the good thing about this card is that it can return to the field from remove the game zone, which is good for the Nile of the deck. But she herself isn't as powerful as like Oborozuki. Like Oborozuki is just a monstrosity, like cause she can just straight up destroy Resonators and Judge cards, which like Judge cards are usually not something that you can just destroy. You usually have to attack over them. There's not a lot of cards that actually just one-shot them, and Oborozuki is just like, oh. And plus she's potentially a 2000 Resonator if she is on the field while she has 10 stones. What? Sorry. What? And the thing about Oborozuki is also that she says if you control 10 magic zones, she doesn't say 10 magic stone cards. Because there are some cards that count as magic stones, even if they aren't. Like you have the Fire Soldier, I think, which counts as a Fire Magic Stone because he's supposed to combo with another card, which says every time a Magic Stone enters the field, deal 200 damage. Also, hello Frostygar. So yeah, having this card here, which just, you know, has 2000 if you have 10 Magic Stones, it's really good if you have the other card. Or just other cards in general which count as Magic Stones. They are... Give me a second. I can actually tell you, there's a couple of cards that do that. Database. Yeah, there's a couple of cards which say Magic Stone in their text. Give me a second. I need to look through all of the weird new cards they released. Like to like the old ones which I actually have an idea about. Then there's a couple of Memoria cards that do something. Ooh, I still like this one a lot. RL 2000. Where's this from? I have to look this one up. I think this is Ruda. Yeah, RL is Ruda League. I want to get this one. I think I can just buy this. This should be cheap because it's a Ruda promo. Buy a box. Does this one count as Magic Stone? No. Because there are some which do count as Magic Stone. There's Oborozuki again. Nylothep. It's like from the, I think it's either from Rhea or from Lapis, which says this card counts as Magic Stone. Where is it? Split of Heaven and Earth. No, this wasn't it. Yeah, there's the Abdul Alhazaret, which says every time a dark stone enters the field, your opponent discards a card of your choice. No, these are the new ones. Where are they? Like they did like this thing where they had resonance, which was how they called the ability. That every time something enters, it acts as something. Here, the Demon Ordinance, which was a one color, a one black resonator, which says this card counts as a dark Magic Stone. Then you had the Servant of the Water Goddess, which counted as a Water Stone. You had the my last fire soldier with kind of a fire stone. I don't think he ever had like a wind or light one. I think he only had these. Yeah. So the only ones that counted. And you also had like the magic stone analysis, which was like a staple card for green decks back in the day, because you could just add a new magic stone. Like turn 2 you had 3 magic stones, turn 4 you had 6 magic stones. It was stupidly good because it it just gave you a magic stone. That's all it did. Yeah, that's basically what this card did. Yeah. Now that I'm done with the stream, people are coming in. Like I don't have anything to open anymore. I'm sorry, guys. I just have these cards and I'm just rambling about the card game itself. What does Athena do? Actually, Arrival. Your opponent banishes a resonator. If he doesn't, he banishes a magic stone. That's really good. If this card is put from the field to the graveyard, your opponent banishes a not judge object, which is also really good. So basically, if this card enters and leaves the field, it removes something. Rest this card resonates with your opponent controls, get -200 until the end of the turn. If in your rune zone are at least 4 uncovered runes, resonators that your opponent controls lose 400 instead. This card is also really good. I'd play this with these two together, because this is a really good removal card with a big body, and this is just a really good card in general. Because Raya can remove, Oborozuki can remove something that Athena can't, which is judges. Yeah, these two are really good. Alice was the one that searches herself out. She was she's like a middle field. She can be good situational. If you have a deck where you can cheese her out with like one workout, she can be really good. But otherwise, she's like, what does she do? Well, she just buffs Mermaid. She just buffs Mermaid. It's not bad. It's for a 3-cost resonator, she's good. She's okay. Like 900, 700 is okay. A buff of plus 400, minus 200 is also good. It's got for her cost. What? Yeah, Zhang Liang was also pretty okay, good for what she does. What does Freya do? This card gains 0 plus 400 if you control a different machine card. If in your drawing phase, if you would draw a card, you can instead look at the top 2 cards of your deck, take one off your hand, put the other one in the graveyard. This is a really good card. It's just this is a really good card for what it is. Like, yes, she doesn't have a lot of touch, but she only costs 1. Like, she can't block. She's kind of like as like a creature on her own, she's bad. But for effect, she makes it really good. She's a good. I would play her 4 times in the deck because the effect is just that good. Let's see. Estimia was she was also really good. She was the one that says your opponent loses life points. And then you have a perfect matrix. You can play 2 less if your ruler is Lich. Move a resonator of your choice from the game. Look at the cards in your opponent and select the card with at least 1 attribute. It's okay. It's okay. It's an okay spot. It's not great. It basically just removes something, but it's way too expensive for that to be useful. Because it's like a 4 cost at minimum. And then most it's a 6 cost card. I wouldn't play this personally. Like in any deck. It just seems too gimmicky for that. Because you need to rely on your opponent to have something that you actually want to have removed. You could just better play like cards that just say discard something. It's more useful. Because you don't necessarily want to remove from game. Because some opponents have decks that profit from that. So just putting it in a graveyard is usually the better choice. Like, I personally would play a deck with Raya, like the Ruda. This one. With Oborozuki in her, because, you know, this is the same character. first of all. But Rhea as a ruler is just really good because you can use mystery counters. Like, the thing is that you can't play Rhea anymore. She's not legal anymore. But with not legal, I mean she's not allowed in the rotation anymore. She's rotated out. She's you know what I mean. But yeah, my point is that if I would have choice, I would play her with the Borozuki, because Rhea is really good at keeping the field clean with her destruction stuff, and the mystery counters are really good. And then you can just clean the field out until you can drop a Borozuki and just hit hard. And even have as a removal option either as Tima or as or Athenia. Like, this is a really good ramp. You have 3 for Astemia, you have 4 for Borozuki, you have 5 for Athenia. Like, it's a really good ramp if you play these 3. Like, insanely good. It's almost frightening, honestly. I want to look for the other one of her, because I had the second one of her. The third one, I mean, because I want to get her in the stack as well, because I decided to put her there. So I just look through the parts that I put away real quick, because she shouldn't be too far away. It's Diablos. I still think Diablos is a good card, but not for me. I would play him in the Waltzer deck though, because he's a demon, and Waltzer can work with demons. It's kind of like Waltzer's speciality. Helmikrak, you're kind of late. I already opened all of the packs. Turns out 144 booster packs are not a lot if you open them on stream. I'd like to open more, trust me. I'd like to open so many more. Yeah, the cards on the table. Like, Oborozuki is really good. Athenia is really good. Estima is really good. Like, I'm actually looking for the other Estima that I have, because I pulled it here. I know that the new Valhalla cards are still legal to play. Like, I would really like to play in a tournament again with these, because I think these cards are really cool. But as long as the pandemic is going on, fuck that. I'm not risking it. Not worth it. Where is Estimia? There's another Diablos. I pulled a lot of Diablos. I probably have a playset of these. Come on, where's Estimia? I know I have another one. Did I grab the wrong box? I think I grabbed the wrong box. Oh yeah. I grabbed the wrong box. She's in Strangers, not in Awakening of the Ancients. Using this one. I mean, Magic has the online game, and Pokemon does too. Like, there's a Magic the Gathering online thing, and with Yu-Gi-Oh! You have technically Duel Links and Duel Links Evolution, or whatever the hell it's called. But most people just use the fan-made programs. I can't remember the name. There she is, Estima. But Forcible doesn't, because there's no point, because nobody plays this. They tried at one point to make one, but they gave up. Which sucks, but... I mean, technically, you can just play them in Tabletop Simulator. Like most games have stuff for Tabletop Simulator. I know Force Will has for the older sets. Like I think the Lapis clusters are in Tabletop Simulator. The main thing is that Tabletop Simulator is clunky because you know you have to click it. For games like Pokemon, it's fine, right? Because you don't have to do a lot with Force Will. You have to tap them. You have to pull magic stones. You have to sometimes flip the cards over. Just a lot of small stuff. I mean, yeah, that's what I mean with Tabletop Simulator, because you can play Tabletop Simulator in VR, which makes it a lot better. It's still a bit clunky, but it's playable. You can just, you know, I mean, I have the thing here. I have the VR headset here, so you can, you know, have like your cards in your hand like this, and you just this way. Like you can just have your cards in here, and then be like, yeah, I'm gonna put this, put it on the field. I want to tap them. Because you can't, but you can't just do this in like Tabletop Simulator, because you know there's no real friction. You can just put your finger on it and the card turns. No, you have to click on it. It's also these are empty. There's no juice in them, so because I didn't charge them. I haven't played on my Oculus in months because it's just nothing. Like I had the operation, net surgery technically, I guess. Got it, like in December, and since then I have not touched this thing because I'm just like. Gonna get motion sick. Like I don't trust myself with sickness anymore. I mean, you're not wrong. Card games are always more fun physically. I mean that can be said for anything really. Because you know it's like the interactive thing between you and your opponent. Because you can see what your opponent thinks, you can see what your opponent does, and you know having the card in your hand is just a different feeling than just seeing it on the screen. Like I get that, but the thing with like card games is also its biggest weakness, because you know with the pandemic going on, it's not something you can just easily do. Because there's always there's restrictions, and you can't you have like the separator between you and your opponent. And it's just usually in like really tiny cramped rooms. Like I get it. I think it's better if you don't. You don't have that in Magic and Pokemon either. Like Pokemon you have to get booster packs, Magic you have to get booster packs, Hearthstone you have to get booster packs, like yeah. Plus people will just buy singles. Like if you ever played in like a tournament environment, people just buy cards for the deck. Like it's not that's like, oh, I don't have the cards for my deck. I have to make do notes. Usually just people buy what they want for the deck. Well, Pokemon has been very popular. They do that. It's still going, the TCGO. Hearthstone used to be the Warcraft card game. I have it. I don't know which shelf it is. It's still somewhere. Magic does it. Magic is very popular. Magic only got the client running recently, I think, though. Like 2020, I think they got running properly. But it was kind of clunky. I never played Magic online, so. Yu-Gi-Oh! Did it for a while with like the weird dual terminal bullshit. And they also had like in the old games where like you could enter the code at every card at the bottom, like the DS games and such. So you could get the card in game. What everyone did, they just looked up the card online to type in the code. I don't think Hearthstone sucks, and it's I think it's a bad attitude to say, oh, just because you can get every card, the card game sucks. No, I think that's a bad attitude, because if you look at Yu-Gi-Oh, if you play in a tournament environment, everyone just plays the same deck, and that's not because you can get every card. It's just because Yu-Gi-Oh has like a clear bias towards one deck. Like, I played Hearthstone a bit. I have a friend who like played it competitively, like high ranking. He doesn't do it anymore, but he was relatively high ranked. It was, I think like in the top 30 players in Germany or something like that. I don't know, but he himself said that Hearthstone suffers from the problem that in the higher tiers you have like one deck that's just better than the others as well, and then the others are not. Like, I think the like when he played with the Druid meta was like a huge thing, where you had basically just Druid ruling over every other deck, because they had like the mana ramp that was just immensely helping them, and then just drop cards one after another and just destroy everything. Pokemon is better in that regard, where Pokemon is like, yeah, you can play meta, but you can also build a cheap deck that can defeat meta. Like, when everyone was playing Reshizard and Pikarom, right, you know, the big tech team GX cards, I played Unpheasant, which everyone was like, what the fuck does Unpheasant do? But Unpheasant had an effect where basically it said shuffle every card attached to the active Pokemon back into the deck, which means they charged up their Reshizard, gave me my turn, I attacked them, they lost all of their energy and just had to rebuild the entire fucking front, which was really annoying for them. Like, I defeated a lot of decks like that, because I just keep putting them back in the deck, and at one point they had no welders anymore, so they couldn't just attach energies every turn. So they were just kind of stuck. And Pikarom had the same thing. Like, as soon as Tapu Koko was out, the Prism Star card, they were just stuck with their big card, because they had to get 3 energies on it first before they could do anything. Or I also played Beedrill. I think it was Unified Minds Beedrill. It's Tech Team Beedrill. Because the Tech Team Beedrill said Destiny Stinger. Destiny Stinger was the attack. It said as long as this Pokemon has a damage counter on it, both active Pokemon are knocked out. And I built a deck basically just around that gimmick, where I just spammed Beedrill turn 2 onto the field with Kokuna and shit like that. Because Kokuna had like the Kokuna from, I think it was Burning Shadows, had an attack which basically said search your deck for up to 3 Kokunas and put them on your bench, which basically means I always had back row. And I used either Rainbow Energies or Po Town, because Po Town said if evolve a Pokemon put 3 damage counters on it, and Rainbow Energy always puts 1 damage counter on something when it gets attached. And it's like, I've never seen the amount of shock and terror when you hit someone with Destiny Stinger for the first time. Because I did this on a tournament, like a legit high-profile tournament. It was like quite a regional, but it was we had like 60 people there. It was pretty big. It wasn't like a locals. It was you have the league, and then you have like the thing above it. Jesus, that's what it's called. The cup, where you get like 1 promo card, and like the winner gets something. I think it was in Play Mat. And I played there, and we have the world champion from 2018 here, in 19, but the 19 world champion doesn't play in my age class. Like the senior. Senior in Pokemon terms means 12 to 16, I think, and Masters is 17 plus. And we have the Masters 2018 and the Senior 2019 champion, world champion here in my area. And I played against the world champion from 2018. And he was playing Reshizard, like everyone was. Like this was in 29, by the way, not 2018. But you know, you keep the title. And I played against him, and I dropped Beedrill. At first I dropped Kururu, and he was just looking at me and like, what the fuck are you playing? And he had Reshizard in front, hit my... I multiplied my Kokuna. This was before the rotation, by the way. Just want to mention that, because people are going to be like, oh, you can't play that deck like that. This was pre-rotation, not post-rotation. This was when was this? I couldn't tell you. I forgot which month it was, but it was like a month or so after Reshizard came out. Like it was for pre-rotation after Reshizard came out. I went like 3 cups from that set to the rotation, I think, because every month there's one. And yeah, I played against the did the multiplier with Kakuna. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he hit my Kakuna with lethal. But you know, I didn't attack him, so he had to, because he couldn't do the attack from Reshizard, which basically said you do more damage for more damage it has, because you know it didn't have any damage. And then I moved another Kakuna forth, and then I played Potown. And then I played Rainbow Energy, and then Beedrill. And I was like, Destiny Stinger for lethal. And the guy looked at me like, what? You can't one-shot this. It only does 90 damage. I was like, no, Destiny Stinger. It's like, doesn't do lethal. I was like, read the card. And he was like, what? Like the pure shock, terror, and confusion in this man's face was just gold. And this was first round, by the way, so nobody knew what I was playing, because this was like a deck nobody even looked at, because people were like, this gimmick card, nobody cares. But I built an entire deck around that gimmick card just to get it out and smash into my opponent as much as I can. And it was so funny to see this man just trying to comprehend that I just one-shot his team card without doing any damage, because he had a card on it which it's like the card that says like, if this card takes this and this much damage, then you can put damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. I don't know which one it is. I think it was the bomb, the giant bomb, I think it's called. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna use that, and it's like, you can't. It's like, why? It's like, because it doesn't do damage. It's like, why it kills me? It's like, yeah, but it doesn't do damage. It just knocks you out. Like, it straight up says on the card, it doesn't deal damage. It just straight up knocks you out, which is the funniest part about it. Because Pokemon who say that this card doesn't get affected by damage, it just ignores that and just hits through it. Like, it was always the funniest interaction when someone tried to pull something like that, where it says like, oh, the next turn this card is unaffected by damage. It's just like, yeah, Destiny Stinger. I love to pull that shit, and the guy he had no answer to Beedrill. Absolutely none, because it was such a stupid card that nobody even looked at. And it was on the field, I hit him with it, defeated him. Hit him with it, defeated him. Like, both times, I just, you know, by round 1 I defeated him normally. In round 2, like the second match, he just gave up after I one-shot his Reshizard. Because as soon as I got one of his Reshizards, he can't price trade anymore. He's just stuck, because he doesn't have anything that hits back row in that deck. So, you know, you're just stuck. There's nothing you can do. I didn't top. Well, I didn't go to top 4 in the tournament. I went back, I think, 6th or 7th place, because I ran into a deck which used single price attackers, which Beedrill just absolutely gets destroyed by, because you have to price trade, right? And as soon as they kill something for you first, you can't trade with Beedrill anymore. It doesn't work anymore on a one single price attacker deck, because you're always going to lose the trade. But against GX and Tag Team GX decks, it was just absolute destruction. I also won against the world champion in another tournament, which was not a cup, which was just the locals, by playing Latias and Latias tag team, and it just didn't read the card. Like, it was really weird, because it feels like top players should know this stuff, but they don't really read the cards, which surprised me. I think what's going on is that they just read what the meta is about and what the meta cards do, and they don't care about anything else. They trade for those decks only, and anything that's like not those decks they just disregard. Because I had the Latios Latios out, he had Silvally GX out, and I used Buster Purge with 2 energies. Buster Purge says, from a discard pile, attach 5 water or psychic energies to this card. I think it just says 5 energy cards. 5 energies to this card. If you had an additional energy on this card, which I did, then in addition, your opponent, this Pokemon is unaffected by opponent's attacks and abilities the next turn. And he saw me I was like, I'm using Buster Purge, and I put on the energies, and he could have like at any point be like, okay, what does it do? Like, show me, can I read the card? You know, it's normal stuff, because it's what you do. Like, if he asked me, I have to explain to him. The thing is that I don't have to tell him what the card does if he doesn't ask. Like, it's straight out in the rules of Pokemon. It's like, if your opponent asks for the effect, you have to tell them. But if your opponent doesn't ask what the card does, you don't have to explain it to them. Because it's not your responsibility to watch out for your opponent's misplays. If your opponent if it results in a rule-breaking error, you have to point it out. But you don't have to be like, yeah, dude, you should read the effect text because it might affect you next turn if you attack. Like, no, you don't have to do that, because that's a misplay kind of deal, and a misplay is not rule breaking, so it doesn't matter. So next turn, he used Silvally and was like, yeah, it's gonna be game. I was like, okay, sure. And do your turn. And he was like, yeah, I'm using Silvally's GX attack, which says for every energy on your opponent's Pokemon does 50 damage, I think. And he was like, I hit you for lethal gain. I was like, okay, you attack me, my turn. He's like, what do you mean? You think it's dead? I was like, no. He's like, why not? It's like, Buster Purge. He's like, what do you mean, Buster Purge? It does attach 5 energies. I was like, yeah, that's the first effect. He was like, what? And he read the card. It was like, what the fuck? Why? And the thing is, his competitive team was done with their matches. Like, we were, well, some of the last people playing, so they were watching us, right? And he just turned to them and was like, nobody fucking plays this. And I was just like, yeah, but I do. Because the thing is, I basically built it on the Ultra Necrozma deck, just with Latios Latios and a couple of other cards. Like, I switched some out, but the core was still the same. And the Buster Purge just saved my ass because he couldn't kill this thing. And I won because of that, because I needed 2 prize cards to get, and he had Silvally GX, and I just one-shot it with Buster Purge, with the normal attack. Because the normal attack does 240, and I had the band attached, which says for GX attack against GX Pokemon does 30 damage more. So I hit it for lethal either way. It was really, really funny because like, you really think that the world champion would read the card? Like, it just sounds like something that you should do, but he just didn't. Just ignored it because he was like, "Oh, this is gonna take 5 minutes." It happens so often. Like, every time I come with a gimmick deck, they don't read what the cards do. And then I always are like, what? Like, there is one card that has a very specific ruling with an interaction. There is Frostlass, which has an effect which says put damage counters on this card. Like up to 7 damage counters. You can this attack does damage times the damage counters more. Or like in total, I think it was like 20 damage per damage counter. And there is I think it was called the Fighting Belt or something, which basically said if the Pokemon is below 30 HP, it does 60 damage more with its attacks. And the very specific interaction with Frostlass was that people didn't know how it interacted exactly, because it's like, does the belt trigger when you announce the attack? Does the belt trigger after the attack? And basically the ruling on the card was that the belt triggers at the beginning of the attack. Like, you declare the attack, then the card checks for like the damage counters on it, and if they are, it adds it as a base damage, and then the effect of the attack itself triggers, meaning you put damage counters on it. It doesn't trigger retrospectively. So Frostless didn't get the buff, and a lot of people didn't know that. And I had so many discussions with the judge there, because you know, I can't. I'm not allowed to judge the tournament that I play in. It's just it makes sense, because the judge there thought that the way the card interacted worked like the opposite way, where the bell checks after the attack, but it's just not true. Like, that's an official ruling that was made in Japan and given from the chain of priorities in Pokemon. That's also how it works in the West. So I had to like fucking pull it out on the rulebook and like, tell him this is how it works. I'm thinking, that's how I see it, and I was like, it doesn't matter how you say it. Like, that's how it's in the rules. It's literally in the rules. Like, how dense do you have to be? Yeah, rules are rules. And he still tried to argue about it. And I was like, dude, you're the judge. You have to know these rules. Like, this is an interaction that was infamous for a while, because the thing is, if you tried to pull it off in TCGO, an online program, it just straight out crashed the thing, because the game didn't know how the interaction worked until they fixed it. Like, they specifically had to program in this interaction because the game just didn't know how to calculate it. Which was really funny. Because the deck that you played it in was Frostless Spiritomb, which was like a hard counter to Reshizard, because Frostless hit for 140 with the damage counter attack, and because it's water and Reshizard is weakness water, it hits for 280, which is lethal on Reshizard, so it's one shot. And it adds like different things in it. The thing is, I played the deck with a different variant, because the variant that everyone played was with Buzzwole. It's like, if your opponent has 4 prize cards and you have less, this attack does 120 damage. But I switched out Buzzwole for Latias from Team Up, I think. Unified Minds, I think it was. Because Latias set for 1 psychic energy. Select a Pokemon on your opponent, select a Pokemon your opponent controls. This card does 20 damage for every energy attached to that Pokemon. And it could hit bench. That's what's the important part is, because you could hit something with Frostless or Spiritomb from that deck really hard, and they just retreated, and you just be like, wow, right. But Latias was always such a surprise card, because you could pull it out and just hit the bench for, you know, if it was like Pikarom, they usually had like 3 to 5 energies attached to it most of the time to charge it up, you know, for the GX attack, because the GX attack would kill you really fucking fast. And if you hit it once and it was like down to 50, 60 HP, and you had Latias and there was at least 3 energies, you could just one-shot this thing and be like, yeah, what's Smithy back, bro? What's Smithy back, bro? And there's nothing they could do about it. Which is why I played Latias. It was such a clutch card, and I still put it in every deck that played Psychic or Rainbow Energies, because it was so good. People really underestimated the little Latias card. It was the 120 HP, and it hit like a brick. Like, I really liked it, because it was like the best Latias card they released from the time. Because the Prism Stump wasn't bad, but it's not good anymore, because Dragon types aren't a thing anymore. I don't even know if it's still legal. I think it is. I think it's from Team. No, wait, it's not. Like I said, my favorite game was Beedrill from Pokemon. I can't play the deck anymore because half of the cards are not legal anymore. Like Potown is not legal anymore. The Kokuna that I played isn't legal anymore. I'd have to rebuild the deck to work in like the current standard, because Team Up is still legal, which is where the Beedrill is from. So the Beedrill is still playable, but it's not viable anymore, because there's also a lot more single attacker decks around, like Mad Party. Like, I would just absolutely get obliterated against Mad Party, because Beedrill doesn't do anything against Mad Party. Like, if I get the first strike in, I can win against Mad Party, but if I don't, I lose. And Unpheasant also is not that viable anymore because of the same reasons, because people just use decks which have like 2 energy requirements, which is not a lot, so they can just attach any, like it's way easier to attach energy nowadays. They try to nerf this whole thing with the new rule they implemented where you can't play a support in the first turn that you have your game going anymore, right? But it didn't do shit. Like, it's the stupidest rule change that they ever did. What they should have done is either ban Welder or never print it, or just errata it. Because Welder was the card that caused the issues. Jesse and James was also a really problematic card in that regard. Same with Lieutenant Surge, because you could just cheese with Lieutenant Surge. Like I had a deck before the ruling was implemented where you could basically discard your opponent's entire hand turn 1, and they couldn't do anything against it. Like, they started their game with no hand cards. And it's just a combination. It's why they errataed some cards. Like, Mismagius gets an errata, and I think 2 other cards. I think 1 trainer card. Yeah, it was Bryson and Bella Man. Bryson and Bella. Yeah, that was the... Bryson Man and Bella. That was the one that got an errata. And there was another one. I forgot which one it was. Because Bryson was also a card which basically was broken because there was a deck which just milled your deck and you couldn't do anything against it. It was basically the play lame win game equivalent of Pokemon. Which really sucked, by the way. Like, it was not fun. Like, I played against the deck a couple of times. Another fun deck that I played was the Buzz Soul deck, the Buzzwole Pheromosa deck. That deck was really hilarious with the GX attack. Because you hit the normal attack for 30 front, 30 back. And you had the big attack, the Jet Hammer, I think it's called, that did 190 damage, but you couldn't use it the next turn. But the GX attack was what I think it was, Bug Buzz. I think it was called Bug Buzz GX. It said if you use this attack and kill your opponent's Pokemon with it, you pull an additional prize card. If you defeat your opponent's Pokemon with it, and this card has 7 additional grass energies attached to the base energy cost, which means 8 in total, then you can draw then you get an additional, I think, 3 prize cards. Which was stupidly good. Like, I love to play with this thing because it was so hilarious to pull it off. Because I basically built it in a way where I could just turn 1, get 5 prize cards. If I was second. By just cheesing the system. Because you played Buzzsaw. Then you played the first stage of Mismagius. Duskstone evolved into Mismagius. You played your supporter cards. Then played Mismagius. Get a new hand, Lieutenant Surge. Then you played. You didn't even have to play a supporter card first. You usually went for Lieutenant Surge first because he made price. Because Lieutenant Surge said if you have less price cards than your opponent, you can play 2 additional supporter cards. Then you played Mismagius again, Duskstone again. To go into Mismagius, I mean. Played it, activated the effect again, and then you were in the ballpark, because then you could just go hog wild and you just try to play 3 to 4 beast rings in 1 turn. Which basic beast ring says if you have 3 or 4 prize cards, if your opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards remaining, you can search your deck for 2 energy cards and attach them to one of your Ultra Beasts. And basically you just wanted to attach 8 energies in 1 turn with this, and hit for Bug Buzz. And if you pulled it off, you just got 5 out of 6 prize cards on your first turn. and your opponent was in a real pickle because they had this beefed up monstrosity in front of them they couldn't do anything against in that short amount of time. And it was like you can just either stall by just putting something big that I can one-shot in front of me and just hope to kill this thing, right? Or you just give up. There's no in between. The only deck that I lost against was Reshizard with this, because, weakness fire one-shot me. Because Basso Pheromosa Tech Team GX had, I think, 270 HP, so it wasn't really beefy. It was a card that was often looked over or just used for a gimmick. But at the same time, it's not something that people like were afraid of. Because they just underestimated the GX deck. Like, oh, this is only 50 damage, oh good. Yeah, and then he just got 5 prize. Got the opponent was like, oh, that's not good. Like with Force of Will, on the opposite side, there were a lot of gimmick decks. Like that's what I really liked about Force of Will. Like you'd said that you don't like when you have every card in the game, right? But Force, because it's like cheap and people just play the same deck. But Force of Will actually, at least in Cluster 3 and at the beginning of 4, encouraged different play styles a lot. So it was actually good if you had every card in the TCG, because no deck looked the same. Like, because if you had a top meta deck, you could just defeat it by a stupid gimmick deck, which was the funniest shit ever. Like I said, my favorite deck was Millium, the Dragon Lord, because Millium had a dice deck. Basically, everything he did was based around dice, which made him really busted, but also really bad because it was random. But I am really lucky when it comes to dice rolls, so that was a deck good suited for me. And I got like special metal dice for the deck because I was like, oh, look at these. And I have like 1 million Pokemon dice. Like I legitimately have like 2 deck boxes like these. Well, actually bigger than these. Full, just out of the Elite Trainer box dice from Pokemon. And the way Millium basically worked is like every card he had the dice roll on them, and every time you rolled you had a dice roll effect. You put like a counter on Millium, and for every 4 counters, he gets cheaper to put on the field. And Millium is the only card in the game that says while this card is being put on the field, not when this card, while, which is a completely different effect because you can't interrupt it, you can't react to it. It's unchainable, and it's the only card in the game that does that. As far as my knowledge goes, at least. And you had a card called Pandora, Bringer of Hope, I think it was called, which basically said for every time you do a dice roll 1 additional dice, and this stacked. So if you had 2 Pandoras, you roll 2 additional dice. 3 Pandoras, 3 additional dice. You know how it goes. And the combo was really simple with this deck, because there was a card that's called Rescue of the Alabaster Dragon Princess, which, yeah, it basically broke the deck if you played it right. Because in the 4th cluster, in the 4th set of the cluster, they released a card called Umra at Tamir, a 7-cost resonator that said if this card gets put on when this card gets put on the field, search your deck for a cost 3, cost 2, and cost 1 resonator and put them on the field. Then shuffle your deck. And it's not a great card by itself because it costs a lot and doesn't do much. But that's where Rescue of the Alabaster Dragon Princess comes in, because the Rescue of the Alabaster Dragon Princess is a 4-cost spell, which you could cheese in by being second, because you got a counter, so you could play turn 3, and usually the card says roll a dice. Either you add to your life point times 100 the result of the dice roll, or you search your deck for a resonator of cost equal or less than the dice roll, and then shuffle your deck and put the resonator on the field. And this is where the card gets broken, because first turn, and it's not a lot. If you have to keep in mind you play with 4,000 life points. So if you roll a 1, you get 100 life points. It's not a lot. It sounds 100 times sounds a lot, but it's not. So you played first turn. You played like the dragon for 1 yellow, which was just there. Like the dragon said, every time this card attacks, you roll a dice, and this card gains times the amount of the result, 100. And the second turn you played Pandora. And that's when the game was, because turn 3 you could drop the Rescue of the Alabaster Dragon Princess. And Pandora said you roll 2. And what is the most rolled number from if you roll 2 dice? It's 7. That's the most rolled number. And as soon as you got to 7, you could drop Umbra at Tamir. And that's when things become crazy. Because you played Umbra, you got another dragon, you got another Pandora, and you got the Alabaster Dragon Princess, which costs 3. And you could basically keep repeating that and just have 21 creatures on the field at the end of the turn. It was stupidly good if you pulled it off. Just have the entire field swamped because you got more dice rolls and more Pandoras you had. And you wanted to roll the dice as many times as you could. Because when Millium comes on, Millium says, while this card gets put on the field, for every counter on this card, roll a dice. If the result of the total dice roll is at least 40, destroy everything except magic stones from your on your opponent's field. Like, it just wipes everything. And it also gains life and attack times 100, the total amount of the dice roll. So you had a 4,000 flying creature on the field that just wiped everything. It was so stupidly good. Like, this thing hit like a brick and could wipe your opponent out in one turn. But it was entirely luck-based, which I think was really funny. You had other decks in that time. You had the Cthulhu deck, which was kind of weird. Kind of good, kind of weird. Which was burn mostly. You had the Steam Explosion deck, which was cancerous. Sorry for the terminology, but yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. Like, you don't want to play against that because you just lost. There's a reason why they banned Regalias. Then you had the Wanderer deck, which was weird, but it was fun to play. Because the Wanderer deck basically said, the ruler said that you could pay for Wanderers with any mana that you wanted to, and you could, I think you could play them from the deck as well. Like, it was a really weird effect. It was Wukong. No, it wasn't Wukong. Wukong wasn't the ruler. I don't remember how the ruler was called. It was a fire ruler. The weirder decks were the Book of Light and the Book of Dark, because they could play cards from the side deck, which was really odd. Like, it was basically as soon as you summon the Book of Light or the Book of Dark, you could search for a card from your side deck that had Light or Dark, respectively, in their card description, and put them on a field. And it was really cheesy. The books themselves couldn't attack, they were just kind of useless, but they could cheese in creatures. Because if I remember correctly, they also could be put back. Like, it was, you could pay like a certain amount of mana and you put them back, and then you can resummon them. That was basically their effect. And it was also like, if you play any Light of Dark cards, you can't play Light of Light of Hope cards. You couldn't play any Dark cards in the deck. But it was only if you had the ruler. I think if you just played normally, you could have both in them. Because I don't think there was like a rule that forbid you from playing both if you didn't play the ruler associated with them. Because there were some dark and some light cards which were really strong. Like, you had the Nylothep, which was a 2-cost resonator, 2 fire, which said for 1 fire you could give something plus 200, minus 200, I think. And you could basically buff your opponent's creatures into dying, which was really funny. Like, if your opponent had like a 1,000 creature, you just paid 4 to make it like 200, 1,800, and you just hit it with like something weak, because he had to block. I think it was really fucking funny what you could do with that. Then you also had the Dark Alice ruler, which I don't know what she did. I'd never played her. She had like some weird effect. You had Yggdrasil, which was like the Yggdrasil, the Dark Yggdrasil card was the card that forced the game makers to implement the rule for maximum amount of cards in the deck. Because before that, you could play as many cards as you wanted in the deck, because it didn't matter for Force Rule, right? But Yggdrasil forced them to put a 60 card limit on it. Because Yggdrasil said, instead of taking damage for every 100 damage you would take, you remove the top card of your deck from the game. Which basically means you start with 2,000 life points more than most decks if you played 60 cards. And Yggdrasil was really annoying to get around. Because you had to deck them out. But that's when a different card came into play. Like later on, they released the ruler, which basically said that players cannot block damage to the life points, which means if you attack to something, even the ability of Yggdrasil got negated. It just ran into them. Because the way Yggdrasil's deck worked is basically you use cards that pay life points because you can't get damage. And you had like the last battle, which was a card which said pay life points x100, everything on the field loses x100. So basically Yggdrasil could just wipe the field by just abusing its own ability. And Yggdrasil also said you could summon stuff from the removed of play area, and it had like cards which got cheaper when they were removed from game. It was a really, really disgusting deck. And the only way to really defeat it is by using cards that either say you reduce your opponent's life points, like they don't damage, they reduce, because Yggdrasil doesn't negate that, or you just blocked its ability altogether, or just decked it out. And I played against a friend who had the Yggdrasil deck and expanded, and I used the Sylvia Guild Paralysis deck that I built myself, which used Split of Heaven and Earth. And Split of Heaven, because Sylvia Guild Paralysis said that every fire magic stone also produces green. Which means I could use normal fire magic stones for green stuff. And Split Heaven and Earth sets deal damage to both players times the amount of special magic stones both players have times 300. Meaning if I had 5 special magic stones, my opponent had 5 special magic stones, we would take 3,000 damage each. But because I didn't no wait, it's the amount you control, it was, so we take 1,500 damage each. But because I played Sylvia Guild Paralysis, which didn't need special magic stones, just played this basic magic stones, I didn't take any damage, but my opponent took all of it. And Yggdrasil always played special cards, special magic stones, because you know Yggdrasil played red, black, green. So you usually played those 3 magic stones, the dual stones, and you also played the Memoria, which produced any color, I think. But you know, that was the downfall, because you could just deck them out in one turn by just slapping a Split Heaven and Earth on it. And just decking out the entire deck in one turn, but the 60 cards gone. Because you just nuke them with it. Because Sylvia Guild Paralysis also shoots 1,000 damage when she enters the field. So you could just shoot 1,000 damage on a creature, she gets unrested, she just hit in him. It's just really, really disgusting coming against Yggdrasil. Like, Yggdrasil was bad in Expanded. Because of that, because you could cheese Yggdrasil out. Like, the thing is, Yggdrasil had also a card that was really strong in its arsenal, which said, I think 100 damage for every banished card to your opponent. Which I think was called Matchsticks or something like that. Or, no wait, it was called Burning the Soul or something. Like, it was for Yggdrasil, it was a really good card, but the thing is, you had to banish a lot of cards before it was actually good. So if you started to burn Yggdrasil, you needed to do it fast. Otherwise, you would just get destroyed by Yggdrasil. Because as soon as Yggdrasil has half of its deck banished, you just get obliterated by it. Alternatively, there was also like the rare rulers were the most fun ones, I think. except the green stuff. Like, don't care about the green stuff, but the other ones were fine. You had Kirik Rerik, which had strength counters, which had really interesting abilities attached to them. Usually they had either they buffed or damaged something. Like it was like more attack or something, or get flying, or you could just shoot 500 damage to your opponent. But at the same time, you had like other things that the Rhea, which had which is here, which has the mystery counters, which usually worked as an extension, meaning you didn't buff anything, but you unlocked cards. For instance, it says if you pay a mystery counter in addition to this card's cost, you can like do the effect twice, basically. Like remove a card from your opponent's hand. If you pay a mystery counter, remove another. I think that was one of the cards that you had. Then you had the pandas, which used gems, color gems. I get 5 cards. Like the Magic Stone, you had 5 colored gems, and the pandas basically had like really wacky abilities depending on what gems you had or removed. Like you had one panda which said like you could remove a light gem. This card gains 200 until the end of the turn, and you could remove as many as you wanted, so you could just buff it really high. You had another panda which said if you control a blue gem, this card gains flying. You know, it was basically like resource management. You had to know which gem to get at which time, and the ruler basically said if you could spend like gems for different abilities, like make this card invincible, buff this card, remove something. You know, it was like an all-rounder where you just had to resource management. Then you had the green stuff with Gil, and Gil was weird because Gil basically said that he had elemental cards and he could play elemental spells by removing elementals from the grave. Was really weird. It was basically just, oh, green is just better now, because you could just spam spells. Blue, what is blue? Oh, yeah, blue had weather, which was weird. It was never good, but it was a nice gimmick because you basically had rain and storm as weather, and you had some cards which say until the end of your opponent's turn it rains, or until the end of your opponent's turn it's storming. And then you have cards which basically had effects like most of the memory cards had enter effects, which said if it rains, this card deals 2,000 damage to something, or if it storms, this card can attack twice. You know, stuff like that. But the memory cards were like generally good for drawing because they had a lot of draw cards. And a lot of search cards, if I remember correctly. Like they had the dolphin, which keys. That's how he calls it. I think it was like draw a card. If it rains, draw another card. I think it was something like that. And the Ruda basically had like an effect where it basically always rains when she is around. And if you flip her, once per turn, you can call storm in. That's what she did. Then you had like the set rulers of Rhea, which some of them were good, some of them were bad. You had Pandora in the first set, which was garbage. She had the golems. The golems were actually, they had some nice abilities, but they were just so utterly useless because they were way too costly to play. Like we had Geras Atomos, which was like the strongest golem they had, but it was like, I think it cost 7 or 8 resonator. It was really hard to get on the field, and even then it was stupid to keep on the field, because I think it removed itself after some time. It wasn't good. And then you had Force of Will still. It's Force, not Fate. It's still Force. Because of green. They gave green everything. Green was just better. I'm getting to that. Then you had Fryla. Fryla was bad when she came out, and people underestimated her for a long time until I played her and realized what you can do with her. Because people were like, oh, the cards aren't good. But if you knew the rules, what the rules specifically said and how they interacted with specific cards, she was busted. Because you later on got a card, which I don't remember how exactly she was called, but it was a 2-cost resonator with 600. And she was released in the 3rd set of the cycle. second set of the cycle in Advent of the Demon King. And she said you can remove a Dark Elf Resonator from your grave from the game. This card gains 100 in life drain. And what most people don't know is that abilities in Fossil will stack. Meaning, every time you removed a Dark Elf from the grave in that turn, she gained another life drain, which stacked more and more and more and more. And man, the thing is, you don't need to tell your opponents that they stack. You just need to declare it. You're like, yeah, I'm using this ability. She gets left side than that, and it is in the rules. It's actually a thing in the rules that the abilities do stack, because that's just how they interact. And if you had like 5 or 6 elves in the grave and removed them all in one turn, she was like a 1,200, 1,200 creature with 6 times life drain. And if you hit into something, they all triggered, meaning you got her attack 6 times as your life points. And I played one match where I just had like 40,000 life points and just didn't do anything for the rest of the game. And just decked my opponent out by just, you know, sitting around doing nothing. Because he couldn't get my life points down. Because I just had so much. And every time he attacked me and I blocked, I used the ability again. Meaning I removed more Dark Elves from my graveyard. And even if my Resonator died, it didn't matter because I still get life points. And he couldn't do anything against it. It was so funny. It was that's when people like in my region realized like this deck might actually not be bad, because I was a genius when it came to deck building in Fossil. Like I was absolutely a bastard in this. I was really good. Like I never excelled at building decks for a game than I did in Fossil. I built the stupidest decks and they always worked. In the second set, they released Welzer and wait, another ruler from the first set was Pharaoh. Pharaoh was like the obligatory I am green and an elf and I spam. Pharaoh was an absolute bastard to get around with because he buffed everything on the field that was an elf. He could give barrier 4 times to elves. It was just stupid to get around this dude. But yeah, the Advent of the Demon King had Welzer in it. I think it's like the only ruler I have both behind me. I think Welzer was like the only ruler in Advent of the Demon King. But they also put like some of the unlocked starter deck rulers in it, because the starter deck rulers came with locked abilities that they unlocked later on in the set. You didn't need to get the new cards to have the effect unlocked. It's just like as soon as it releases unlocks, you just need to know the errata of it. And Welzer was a card where everyone thought he was bad, like really bad. Because the thing is, his abilities once he's on the field are immensely powerful, but getting him on the field, that was the problem. Because he either required mana of each color, or 5 different colored seals, which was like its own thing. Like he used seals, and he said he could pay for seals with fire. And the seals, I think the final seal was like 4 or 5 mana. It was really expensive to play it. You had the water seal, which was 1 cost, and no wait, the light seal was 1 cost, and it buffed something. I think it was like 200 to 100. The water seal was one blue, 1 neutral, draw a card. Then you had the green seal, which I think said you could. I don't remember what the green one does. Wait, the fire one was 3. The fire one shot 600 damage. The green one was 4, and I think it said you could get a magic stone. And then there was the black one for 5, I think, which said you can put a resonator from the grave on the field. And the thing is, Welzer had a card, a spell, which was called Advent of the Demon King, which said, which cost 2 black and 1 neutral, and said, if you play this card, you can either give every creature on your opponent's side of the field -600, or you can speak Judgment for Welzer, meaning putting him on the field. And you could cheese him in with that. So I played 4 copies of this because they released another card in the set which was called... I don't remember what it's called, but it was a counter for 1 which basically said you can play a card of the same cost. Like the spell chant gets cancelled, your opponent can play a card of the same cost or less. And I usually started with 2 copies of Advent of the Demon King on my hand, and I could cheese spells in turn 2. And I played Advent of the Demon King, my opponent cancelled it, I just played another Advent of the Demon King. Put Wells on the field, turn 2. Well, 3 if I was first player, but turn 2 usually. And Welser was just the destroyer of elves. Because Welser had a very, very unique ability. First of all, Welser said as soon as he enters the field, you can put a demon from your hand onto the field. Which was really good because you could play Beelzebub, which I mentioned earlier in the stream. Beelzebub is I think it was 1/5/1/5 creature which said you put 5 minus counters on it, which means every counter gives minus 100/100, and you can distribute them however you want from Beelzebub. And Welser said once he arrives he puts I think 3, either it was 2 or 3, I don't remember which one it was, 2 or 3 minus 100 counters on everything the opponent controls, and if he attacks he does the same. And he had a 1/5/1/5 body. Like, it was a monstrosity of a ruler once he was on the field, but getting him out was the issue most people had. And I topped several tournaments with him because of that. Because people didn't expect him to be played. They expected like the meta stuff. You know? Like Cluster 3 was the legal, so people expected like the Fox to be played or Yggdrasil. But when I just slammed Welser down, I was like, do something. Because they couldn't do anything. Like, getting over a 1/5/1/5 body in itself is an issue, but getting debuffed while trying to do it, because the counters don't go away, they just stay. So you get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker, and you can't do anything against it. Because first of all, it's non-targeting, and second of all, yeah. Like, Welser was such a monstrosity on the field. And then they released the 3rd set which is the last one I played from Raya. That's when I stopped back in 2017-18, which was the Time Spinning Witch. And I think Time Spinning Witch had like the most interesting cards in it, but it also is where the game just broke its back, because it released Shirihazari. I'm just gonna call her Shira. Because Shira was the most busted card they've ever printed. And she should not have been released. Because Shirazade said she had like an... No. Forcible wasn't like, if they didn't power creep, but usually it was like the first set from a cycle was weak, but everything else was playable. But you could still like win with the starter decks. Like the thing, that's the beauty of the game. Like it didn't power creep it that hard. But green was just so buffed starting Raya that nobody wanted to play against it anymore. And every meta player was just playing green, because it was just... Green had everything. Usually every color force of will has like an associated thing. Black has destruction, red has damage / burn. Yellow has, or white has like usually like recovery, like life recovery, or just an all-rounder but not great at it. Blue is chance and draw power. Green is supposed to be ramp and swarm. Yes, because Force of Will is based off magic. I said that multiple times, dude. Yeah. That's basically it. And yeah, and the thing is with Sherazade, like they gave green everything. Like in the second set, green had already 4 counters, different ones, which they could all play, and 2 of them were basically for free. And in Time Spinning Witch they got another one, like a resonator, which was cancelled, and they got another one just specific for Shera, which so they had like 6 different counters they could play 4 off in the deck, which was stupid. And one of the counters wasn't even like bound to any condition. You could just play it from anywhere, because Sherazade had a special deck which was called like the Book of something, where you had like 5 cards in it, and you could pick one and reveal it, and then you played that spell and it stayed revealed. And basically the amount of cards revealed buffed her. And the thing is that you could just put the counter in that and just use it any time you wanted it to. It was so fucking broken. Because you didn't have to shuffle the special deck she had. You could just stack it. It didn't matter. There was no rule for that. Because it was its own gimmick thing. And she played puppets, and she had puppets which were just so busted they should have been banned by themselves. There was like let me actually like look for these cards in the database because of how stupid they were. Like set. Let's see. Rhea. Time spinning witch. Wind. And such. Yeah. The giant straw puppet. Here. This is a card that let me just read the effect of Shera, what she did. It was the rule of the deck. She was always out. So on her side, which she was active on most of the game, she said, you start the game with the archive, it was called. This 5 magic cards, blah blah blah. Marionette, puppet cards in your hand gain swiftness. Yes, like the thing is, she could play her puppets at any point in the game. In your turn, just plop down a puppet. End of the turn, plop down a puppet. She could play them at any point of the game, which was what made her so busted in the beginning. Because everything gained swiftness. Well, it was swiftness, quick cast, not swiftness, quick cast. Then, for free, here, reveal a card from your archive. It is revealed until the end of the game. You can copy this card. If you copy the card, you can play you have to pay its cost. You can use this ability once per turn, which means you can use the chant anytime and how often you want. It's stupid. And then her ruler side is the thing that broke. The judge side is the thing that just broke the camel's back. She has flying, has 1000. Like I'll actually just pull this up on stream. Give me a second. Display capture. No, I'm gonna change this to my second display. It's gonna look a bit awkward because my second display is a bit smaller than my main one. So I'm sorry about that. There we go. Here. So yeah. This is her second side. The judge side. And yeah. Puppet cards in your hand gains quick cast, which she still retains. She's flying. Then on arrival, put a puppet card from your grave onto the field. Then legend 3. That means if 3 cards from her archive are revealed, put a non-magic stone, non-judge object of your choice that your opponent controls back on the deck of your opponent. And if you control 5, she additionally gains on arrival. Search your deck for a puppet card and put it on the field. Then shuffle your deck. Like, she just spammed. And wait, here, card database. I just have to go back to the. And this is the card that made her so broken, because this card is a 1300 body creature, which says anytime you receive damage, this card damages your opponent for the same amount. Which means if you hit Shera, this card just basically bounced it back to you. It was so dumb that they did this. This is like such a stupid card. And you could play 4 of these. And Shera could choose 2 of these on the field when she arrived. She's like, why did they print this? How is this okay? And then she had like this one, the Ruined Story, which said quick cast. Choose an effect. Your opponent banishes a resonator or hide two, flip back two of your archive cards, or choose a resonator on your choice on a graveyard, or choose a resonator from your grave and put it back in your hand, or neutralize a spell of your choice if the owner doesn't pay one. And spell in this game means creature, because chant is like these, and spell just means anything, any card that gets played. So this card either banishes a creature, puts back two of your archive cards, takes one card from your grave back into your hand, or just cancels something for like 2 cost. It's just stupid broken. And this is like all from the same set. Like everything in this is banned and expanded. Everything. Then you have like this is less. Like this basically is just a spell to say fuck you to the water cut, because this basically changes the weather to clear. Then you had these two, which are bad. Then you had no. Yeah, then you had this puppet here, which said like if you have 2 cards revealed, this card gains plus 300, which was good in itself. You had this thing, which was basically another counter, which just says neutralize a targeting spell. You had this thing, which basically said neutralize a spell if your opponent doesn't pay X, which means that you can put like you pay like 10 and your opponent has to pay 10. Then you had this asshole who just he himself is also a cancel, which like a counter which says quick cast this if this card puts on the field, neutralize an activated or automatic ability of your choice that your opponent controls. Remove 3 ghost magic cards from your grave from the game. Put this card from your grave back into your hand. Green has everything. This is just from one set, dude. This is just one set. And this is this is just one set that they released. And this one is also a card that was just specifically for Shera, because this card just counted every single card from the starter decks. Because this card said choose an effect. This was for one. It says neutralize a fire spell of your choice, or remove all counters from the ruler or judge from your opponent. Which is, just fucked with every single starter deck they released. Like, this is just the counter cut to like half of the entire game. By just saying, no, you don't get to play. And then you had this card, which also was from the same deck, which said if you had 3 cards revealed from your archive, if this card gets put onto the field, your opponent discards a card. If you have 4 revealed, your opponent loses 400 life points. If you have 5 revealed, your opponent banishes a creature. Like, this was all for one ruler, one single ruler. Look at this shit. Just for this card. And the thing is, most of these cards were common and uncommon. So you could... The only rare one was this one, the Ruined Story. This was the only one that was really rare. And this one, because it was an alternate. Like the variant cards, which you usually had like 1 or 2 per box in them, but yeah. Like, I was playing in a Pauper tournament, which basically means you are only allowed to play common and uncommon cards. And I got second place with this deck. I only lost because I fucked up a play in the final round, but I would have won with this. Like, this was when these cards just released and I saw how broken they were, and I pulled 2 of these. 2 of the variant Soul Puppet. And I just had them on the field, and I was like, yeah, fucking hit me. You're gonna kill yourself. Like, this is stupid how good this deck was. Like, everyone played it. And I personally played a different deck, which was, I'm just gonna remove this. Search. Like, this is the entire set from this deck. And I played this deck, the Imol deck. Which that was the gimmick of the deck. Every card from this had two sides. So you had to flip them around the whole time, which was annoying. And this is the deck my friend played, Scarlet Purple Beast. Because the Dawn Girl. And she had like a lot of abilities, and her special deck was basically playing with null. That's how the ability was called, which means if you have no hand cards, she gains abilities. And her ability was basically just she hits hard and fast. And yeah, like Sherazade had like other cards, like she had here the Shadow Puppet. This card, which was, yeah, your opponent just discards something. She had yeah, this. The end of the first elementals, which was the hard counter to the other green deck. You had basically everything in this set for Shera was just broken. Then you have the mermaid. This is the rain girl that I talked about, Sheila. I think it's really funny because they when you buy on the starter deck, she is like completely flat, and then in the following sets they give her massive titties because it's like, I think 7 years later, and they're all adults in the later sets. It's really funny. But yeah, this was also this was my favorite card from this set, Meteora, because Meteora has barrier black and blue, which basically means that Sherazade couldn't really do much against this thing. But he says every time a Resonator under your the control of your opponents gets put onto the field without being played from the hand, which is like a hard counter to Sherazade, this card damages that Resonator for 2000. Like, it just nukes the card. There's nothing that can survive that. It's so funny because this thing just... If you cheese against this, like if Sherazade tries to cheese Resonators on the game, you just splash 2000 damage on it, and it's just like, what you gonna do? And, yeah. And you combine this usually with this card here. It's not on the screen, but basically it says everything that has cost from 2 or less gets 600 damage. Every time it gets put on the field. And if you combine it with this with Meteora, you could just screw your opponent up, because this basically gave a creature plus 400 per 100 swiftness, barrier, and targeting. And Meteora was just the beast. I love Meteora. And this is Imol. Imol is still top tier. I would love to open this box. This is like my favorite booster box, this set. The Time Spinning Witch. Because Imol is just such a pretty card. I had all 3 rulers back then. I got all of them. Even as misprints version, like I had all misprints as well. Because they fucked up the prints in this and accidentally printed the wrong sides of the cover. It's a lot funny. But I still really want to open this set because it's just the best set they released, in my opinion, except for Sherazade. But like every other card is just so fucking cool in this. Like you have this thing, the Palace of Hope and the Dark Palace. And basically the Light Palace says every time you speak Judgment from your ruler, transform this card. If this card get puts on the field, put 2 100 counters on every Resonator that you control. So basically this deck worked because Imol had Invincible, and she got stronger every time she gets put on the field, so you just want to flip her the entire game, like back and forth. And every time you do, all of her cards get stronger as well. Like if this card gets transformed, put 4 -100 count of every Resonator that your opponent controls. And this was just such a good card. Because Imo herself, like, you can see she's super fucking weak. She doesn't have any good stats. But, like, on her, this ability says, for 0, Rested Resonator of your choice, you can only use this ability once per turn and only in your opponent's turn. Which was really good, because you could basically just say, you know what, you attack me, I'm just gonna rest this, and you just get fucked. And then you had on this side, which says Life Drain, which is like the thing about her. She is flying and invincible, which means if she dies, you can just resummon her. Usually you can't. She has Life Drain. And on arrival, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You can choose a non-chant card with a cost of 3 or less from those and put it onto the field. You can transform that card. Put the other cards below your deck, which basically means she cheeses cards on the field like this. Which means, if you play her, you can just cheese in the palace and then use both effects of the palace. Because this one triggers as soon as it enters the field, and then you transform it. So you trigger both effects of this thing. It's so good. And this card is also really good. This is like the main card you play. You'll play 4 of these in the deck. Which says every time you speak Judgment, you transform this card. Every time you control your Resonator that you control gets put on the graveyard, you can pay 1. If you do that, draw a card. It's just a free draw card thing. And if it gets transformed, and the transform side is like what makes this card really good, because it says if this card gets transformed, put the top card of your Magic Stone deck rested onto your field. Which basically means you get a mana card for free. Banish a Resonator of your choice gains, loses -100 until the end of turn. Like, this is just the best card she has, because she can just get a shitload of mana in one turn. You also had this card, like all of her cards are just really, really good. But they only work for her. You also have this, like, a big TD girl. Let me actually show you, like, the other Sheila cards. So you can see what I mean, that they gave her, like, a huge bust. Like, this is Sheila in the starter deck. You can see she's super young. Right? And this is her, like, after the time skip. They gave her giant titties. It's just the funniest shit. Like, they went all out on these cards. You can see, like, Sheila's Return. By the way, this is the German website. There is an English version of this. I mean, they did this for other characters. Like, you have Rhea and Zero. Like, this is Rhea in the starter deck. And then you have the second version of Rhea, which is this one. I still want to get this one. I have this one back in the day because it's from Advent of the Demon King, which is I bought like 5 boxes of this shit. And then you have the final version of her, which is this one, which I actually have here. See? And then they release these cards, and I don't fucking know what they do. Like, these are weird. And you also have this one, which is from Alice Return 3. Yeah. You then have Zero. I hope Twitch doesn't ban me for this, because there's like one really suggestive Zero card. This is like the oh, they don't have the uncensored version. Okay, they don't have the uncensored version, because this one actually released in an uncensored version, where they just straight out show the entire ass. Like, they don't even bother to hide it. It's just straight up ass. Yeah, like this. You see where she has the skirt on? Like here. In the uncensored version, she doesn't have that. You can only, like, see the hint of her panties. It's like, yeah, they printed that. I actually have that card. Like, I have it on my shelf here. It's like one of the few I kept. And this is the Zero from Curse of the Frozen Casket that I talked about, the one with Barrier. This was really good. Wait, she actually... Oh no, she didn't have Barrier, but she removed abilities from everything. But she had the ability that she didn't get any damage. That was what the thing was. And this was the other Zero card that was really good. Because she has yes, there are. She has Quick Cast, which says, she can play anytime. When she gets put on the field, the opponent cannot draw more than one card per turn, which is just a great card to cock your opponent. And Resonator that you control cannot be returned to your hand, which is just good. Then they have like the new Zero. I don't like the new artist they hired for her. I like the old artworks of her way more. They have way more character in it. Also, this is the original Zero. Like, she went like to this, then she went to this, then she got into an edgy phase with Rhea, and then she's back to this. But yeah, like, this is like my favorite male character, Welzer. I don't know why he's so young in this, because he is not supposed to be that young, but this is the original Welzer that I talked about, that I also have a poster of in the background, which you can see on my camera. This is the big boy himself. This is him. This is the guy that I talked about that just nukes the field when he arrives. With the big body, like, this is Welzer. And they gave him like a really good card later on, which is this one. Which says, every time you speak a chant, copy it. You can choose a new target for the copy. This ability can only be played once per turn, which basically means you can just nuke your opponent with spells. Then got the gift of the gods, which is like a one-time ability. You can only use one of these abilities once per game. To show this card from your hand. Put this card on your field. At the end of the opponent's turn, remove this card from the game. Use this ability only once per turn. So basically, you can just cheese him into the game for once. And he has a really big body still. He's really good. And he's a thick boy. And then you have this weird one. Like, I don't know what the fuck is up with this. I don't like how lazy they got with the artwork on the Neo cards. It's like, oh, he has the mouth closed, but now he has it open, but there's magic. You know, I like these more when they had like different artworks then, but it's because this is when they changed the company. Like, you can see that it doesn't say Fossil at the bottom anymore. It says I Spy Productions, because I don't know if they changed the name branding or if they actually got bought up, but I think they got bought. You also have Gil Alamet and Gil Lapis. Like, this is like the enemy pretty boy. Like, Gil is badass. I like Gil. And you have also here, this is Sylvia Gil Paralis. This is also one of my favorite characters in the game because, I mean, look at her, Dragon Lady. And they made a cosplay promo for this, which I never really liked, but no, I prefer this one, which I have also. But, yeah, then you have Gil Alamat, which is a 3-sided card. And, I mean, look at this dude. He looks so funny. But Gil Lapis was a pretty good card. Especially this one, it was really strong. This one as well. Let me see. Oborozukuyo. So yeah, this is like the other Oborozukuyo. I don't like it. What really ticks me off with this card is that it looks like she isn't like wearing anything, but it's like armor, because it has nearly the same color as her skin. Like, you can see it better in this one, but it looks like her skin. And yeah, this is basically just Rhea. Rhea, but edgy. And this is the first one, this is the second one. And then you have in the normal form here. Like you have that's a nice looking one, then you have the evil one. These are like the new guns. I don't know if I like them. I like the old ones more, like the classic design where they have the attack on the side. Because this is the design that I played with when I got into the game. And these ones just look more like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But prettier. I misspelled it. I'm just gonna... And this is like Nyala Lothep, which is this is the first Nyala Lothep, which is how it originally looked, and then it's like, oh yeah, she's actually a girl. And this is the one I talked about that can buff your opponent to death. This is the starter deck card, which my friend played like a lot, because this is a favorite ruler. And yeah, this is the one I have here. This is her. And they also released like a promo of there in monochrome, which looks really cool. Because they always do it like, if they release a card like this, they always print like the colors that it has and its attributes, like in color on the monochrome card, so it looks really fancy. And then it returns like to the evil version again. Though I prefer this one a lot more, like the Fox Girl. And for the time she's also Scarlet. Like Scarlet. Yeah. The purple beast. And this is a card they actually released as like an apology for the misprints. I had 8 of them. Because they gave you one for each misprint you had. And I had a couple of them. So yeah, I gave them all away, but they're really cheap. It gets for like $5 maximum for playset. But it was in English only. But then they reprinted it in German for some reason with like a different card design. It's whatever. Yeah, I think that's enough for today. I thank you all for joining me though. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.